Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and we are live here, 9 o'clock-ish. I'm in Tampa, Florida, time zone. I'm so happy to have all you guys with me. I see so many amazing people in the chat. What's up, Bunda? K-Dot-Strusky, Insatiable Mr. Dong. Okay. Collaborative Kiwi Studios, my man, already dropping a super chat. I appreciate you. Can't wait for this topic. LOL. Well, it's going to get real. Looks like I put out a call to all the Ray Fisher fans who were not happy with my take on the article. And I put out a call. I said, if you want to come have a conversation with me tonight about this topic as I go through the interview, let's have it. Open call. And if you're watching now, you're welcome. You're allowed in. As long as you can be respectful in this chat, as long as you are 18 and older, and as long as you turn your webcam on so I can see you, we can do it face to face. Let's see who can handle the smoke and who wants to come in and actually defend this the story, because I got problems with it. I have absolute problems with it. I'm happy to talk about it with anybody civilly. I'm not going to try and turn it, unless they scream at me. This is not going to be a screaming match. I want to have a conversation about it, and I hope someone in the chat here will be able to do that. So I got 3 Ray Fisher fans already in the waiting room, ready to have this conversation with us tonight. So I'm looking forward to it. Thanks you guys who tuned in. Look, it's a big story. A lot of people were commenting, and if you guys want to get in the mix, if you do not agree with me on this topic and you want to try and challenge me, there's been a lot of folks calling me the worst they can think of today, and it literally is just dirt off the shoulder at this point. It's so nice to see when people resort to obvious tactics and just lies and then bring up your past, etc. It's like, great, block, see ya. You're not engaging in actual discourse. You're not knowledgeable. You don't actually know all the information. You're just doing what you're told, and that's what I can't stand about society these days. We live in a society of due process. That's what I think. All right, so guys, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to be here. So I got the full article here. We'll go through. Ray Fisher opens up about Justice League. I did a video talking about some of the main points, but there was a lot more to that article, and we'll go through it. But let's not bury the lead. Shall we invite one of these fans, I Stand With Ray Fisher fans, into the building? You guys up for this? Are we going to do it? I got some super chats. Guys, keep the support coming. I love you guys. You guys keep this channel moving. Before we do, let's go through this. We got Mood. Thank you, Mood, or Mookle. Team Brandon. I stand with Ray Fisher. All right, well, Brandon is in the waiting room. Clearly, Brandon put that out there. I appreciate that, Mookle. Maximilian, keep up with the great work. Ray is making mountains out of molehills. If Cotter can say Luke Cage's famous phrase, "Sweet Christmas," good point. Ray can easily say, "Booyah." There you go. Collaborative Kiwi Studios is back. Thank you again. This is epic. Let's hope so. We shall see. All right, I'm going to open up so I saw William came in first, and then Brandon, and then Jordan. If you guys are listening, I'm going to open up again. William, make sure I'm adding William now. William, make sure you set your audio and video to be on, William. And then make sure that's working. As I see him coming in the building, you will be live here on the show, so be aware. Make sure you're 18 plus and all that jazz. William, is it working for you? Are you there?
Hi.
I see you, man. Andy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm speaking from Mexico, so my English sucks.
It's okay. We'll talk slow. I talk fast. So if I'm talking too fast, let me know. We'll have a nice conversation here. All right. So William is your name. Welcome to the show. You stand with Ray Fisher. Yes, you are not a fan of some of my coverage of Ray Fisher.
No, not really. There's a couple of things that I was thinking after we talked on the chat. First of all, I'm from Venezuela. I just live in Mexico. But we in Latin America are not up for woke stuff and, this whole liberal thing of the United States of America. So you have to do something pretty shitty for us to actually pay attention to this kind of shit.
Sure.
So in the case of what Warner did, not only with Ray Fisher, but you can see that they cut basically every single black character from the film.
They didn't cut his father. In fact, his father stayed alive in the film.
They reduced Silas Stone. They cut the mother.
Harry Lennox is still in it, right? Martian Manhunter's technically in the movie, right? So
I don't remember seeing him in the Whedon cut, but that's beyond the point. What I was thinking is that maybe, Ryan Fisher is new to the Hollywood gig, for what I know. So maybe, when you put into account the market expert side of things, I work in marketing in Venezuela and Mexico for years, and you actually get data about what people tend to want to see. in a film or even in apps. I mean, in TikTok here in Mexico, you actually get that people don't like to see people of color, even in Mexico, but the majority of people is brown. So TikTok algorithm actually send people white presentators on TikTok and that kind of stuff. So I believe that what the people at Warner did was that they reduced these characters because they were afraid of the reaction that it was going to have in the public, which is actually technically a responsible business model. But Ray Fisher wasn't digging it,
Yeah, Ray
So
wasn't digging it. That's fair to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix between his lack of experience and what is maybe day-to-day Hollywood practices about this kind of stuff. And well, the fact that Josh Whedon is kind of an asshole.
Well, so not to interrupt, I want to have your say. So here's, yes, obviously, when you say something is racist, it becomes very more emotionally charged, and it's a very serious allegation. I wasn't there. And the problem I have is, okay, so we cut all the people of color is the argument I keep hearing. Okay, you're allowed to think that that's why they did it. I still have yet to see a single thing that proves that's why they did it. The only thing I know is they had to cut over 4 hour movie into a 2 hour movie. And the cuts they made, for me, not a person of color, but for me, I understand why they made them. I do, now that I've seen both cuts. Iris West, let's break them down. Iris West is a character. It's weird to show her when he's learning his powers. She doesn't come back. I thought it was odd she didn't come back in Zach's cut. It's a cool action sequence, but from a standpoint of like Iris West, it's kind of underwhelming. It's more of an action sequence than a person of color, like, wow, let's make sure we take care of this character. So you got that scene. So for me, I understood why they got rid of it, because they rewrote, like it or not, they rewrote Flash's sort of scene to save one person, like Ben Affleck's like motivation for him. So that's why we got rid of that. And then it's what's this guy, the scientist who becomes Adam, was another person everyone says, well, they got him. Look, I had trouble understanding him. It was a small part. It's clearly like a Easter egg to another part later. In cutting up the movie and in cutting down Cyborg's story, which I think is the real one we're going to talk about, I understood why that made the cut. It's another character that's in there. It's a secondary character that they just clearly didn't want to set up the Adam thing yet. They clearly didn't know, do we need this? It didn't further the plot along. It was just an extra character that, sure, it was nice in the Snyder cut, but again, it doesn't prove that they cut it out of racism. Now, Cyborg's part, let's talk about that, because Joe Morton is still in the film. He survives in this film, but they cut the mother. So we can't say Joe's on it. Joe's in it, but then they cut the mother. Now, the mother's in like 2 scenes. Mother's in it in a scene with the flashback of like, oh, your dad has a tough life, and and clearly she's as Ray says in the article, they're rich, which is that's fair. It's a rare thing to sort of see in blockbuster films, but it's not. I mean, I've seen it before, and they just decided to cut her part out because I think, I don't know, it didn't personally affect me. Now, just because Joss, it didn't affect him, and he sort of didn't see Cyborg as the heart of the movie, is that a mistake? Maybe. I'll give you that. Maybe that was a mistake in seeing the Snyder cut. He easily could have probably put those couple scenes in. Could have been another 10 minutes of the movie, and we would have had the first black, superhero in the DC respected a little bit more. I don't disagree with that, but was it racist? That's where you lose me. There's no proof of it being racist. Is where I'm stuck.
That's the central question. I mean, clearly the whole Josh Whedon thing is he's horrible. He was horrible for everyone apparently. But the ultimate question is that if the action that he took, particularly with Ray Fisher, were racist or not. I don't personally think that Josh Whedon is actually racist. I don't think any of these guys in Hollywood are racist. I believe they act because of market trends, and that's like I said, that's.
But I don't mean to interrupt, but it's like you don't think Ray is emotionally charging his audience to declare them all racists? Because I do, and I think that's dangerous what he's doing. And you don't want an angry black man. I mean, to me, when that whole argument with Jeff Johns, it's like Jeff Johns in the article confirms and adjusts and says, yeah, we don't want to have stereotypes. Correct me. Is there a stereotype of angry black men in the world? There is, correct?
I don't think that's a stereotype. I mean, I'm not American. I don't know why would anyone see that as a stereotype. Actually, when I read it, since I'm not American, I said, why would anyone said that? I don't want an angry black man to be the center of the movie. That sounds pretty racist to me. But if it is a stereotype, maybe there's something else that I'm not reading because I'm not an American. Could be. But one thing about what you were saying that actually I think that Ray Fisher was emotionally charged as you said, is that he felt compelled to speak after the Black Lives Matter riots during the pandemic. So I think that he might have mixed up the fact that Joss Whedon was an asshole with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Thank you. Thank you. We are in agreement on something, and that's what I've been saying from day one. Yeah. I think there was an emotionally charged movement that was correct. I understand why it's there. I understand why people are radically changing, as I do believe we should. And what's frustrating is the term racist is being thrown around very liberally right now. And I think that's a very dangerous term to do. As someone said in the chat, if they were racist, they wouldn't have hired a black actor. Like, let's really break down what the term means. Now, could they be doing racist actions? And we're talking microaggressions and all these things that we're learning in society. That's where I think he loses a lot of people. Because if you're going to come out and say, this is racially charged, then you got to prove to me it's racially charged. I want to point out something to you too, because I have this here. There was a whole argument that he was making. Do you remember this? They digitally lightened the black actors in Justice League. Remember when Ray said that? Have you seen him say that since? No. I wonder why. Because he made that assumption, and then what happened? Joss Whedon threatened him to legal nuclearness, and he stopped. And I didn't see that mentioned in this new article or anywhere else. What does that tell you? What does that tell you, William? You don't think Ray is overreacting a bit maybe with some of these racial charges, and in fact being perhaps dangerous in his vagueness and accusations, and why I make my videos to sort of challenge and push back, to be, whoa, slow down, dude. What actually happened? It sounds to me we agree Joss Whedon was an asshole is what happened. That's what happened.
So far we agree, but hear me out. I mean, I do believe, like I said, I reread the article, and I found that even Ray Fisher said, the Black Lives Matter movement was happening during the pandemic, and yada, yada, yada. And I decided to talk. And, well, I think that's wrong. I mean, I think that make everything about race is wrong. However, coming back to the marketing side of things, if this is a common practice in Hollywood, because actually the market trends show this. I mean, I'm talking about Mexico, where 90% of the people is brown. And yet you have that the brands use white models and white actors because it's what people want to see, basically. So maybe Ray Fisher is pushing, without knowing, he's pushing against that kind of trends in Hollywood, So there's a point there. And that doesn't make Hollywood racist, but it's certainly not right. I mean, it's a market trend, and it's a market practice that these companies have, both in advertisement and cinema, and it's not right.
So what?
Basically not right. I don't think that he's informed enough to know that that's the reason why most of the black characters were cut. Cyborg wasn't made the center of the movie in the 2017 edition. I mean, even if they cut 2/3 of the movie, I mean, Cyborg. I mean, in many ways, I saw the Snyder cut, and Cyborg was the main character of the film, because he's the only character that is being introduced besides the Flash and Aquaman, and he's the only one with the connection with the mother box. So he's the center of the film. Like they say, he's the heart of the film. And they made it just a background character in the 2017 version. So it's his first gig in Hollywood. He's the central character of the film. They cut him out. He doesn't know the game pretty well. I mean, he got pissed.
Right, but everything you're saying to me doesn't warrant the amount of backlash that Ray has done over the summer. And I would argue Ray and his backlash of the studio over him just being pissed that his character got cut is why they're not going to restore the Snyderverse anytime soon. I think they literally, that hatred and everything else literally is what turned the fandom over to where I think Warner Media is like, I don't want to touch this fandom. I don't want to be involved in this fandom because it's too toxic. And I think we don't want to be called out. Anybody who gets involved in this is going to be called out in some way. They want to move on and be over with it. They gave the Snyder Cut a release, and they weren't even applauded for it. They were ridiculed, and it wasn't enough. It was give a mouse a cookie, we want more, is what ended up happening.
Well, that's another subject. I don't really think that's the reason why I don't want to move forward with the Snyderverse. I mean...
But can we agree it didn't help? It didn't help things.
It didn't help. It certainly didn't help. I mean, I personally don't think that Ray Fisher, I mean, he could have commented a bit about race and, these market trends, because they exist. And they are that. They are not racist. They are market trends. The data shows what the people want to see, and the studio react to that data. That's it. You don't have to be a racist to react to data. Not here, not in Mexico, not in USA. You can comment on that. I mean, I believe that Ray Fisher did a lot of race talking about the subject that is not really healthy, especially for your country, which is coming apart under racial tension because reasons. I don't know. I'm not an American, but I see why he got that perception. That's what I'm trying to say.
But so it sounds like so where are we disagreeing? Why do you have a problem with my coverage? I guess is what I'm trying to understand. What's the difference here? Because we're agreeing more than disagreeing on everything we're talking about.
Yeah, I have a problem with your coverage because it seems to me, at least, that I don't know. You said that you have a clash with Ray Fisher. I'm not aware of that, but I don't know. I see you talking. It seems really personal to me that you're trying to disavow everything the guy says, and not everything the guy says is bad. I mean, that comment about the angry black man is pretty shitty comment. To me.
It's a shitty comment, but there is a stereotype of angry black men. I learned all about it through Jody. We talked about it on The Bachelor. You can't be seen as an angry black man. That's another thing he was telling me we have to constantly be careful of. And if in the context of that conversation, that's what they were saying. Look, we can't have our first black hero have some angry black man to be in the center. Everyone's going to talk. There are ways to take that in a context of they're talking about that. They don't want to do that for racist reasons. You know what I'm saying? We don't know the whole conversation. And what frustrates me more, it's just like the Meghan Markle thing, which I actually supported Meghan Markle in some of the things she said. I do believe some of that was not right. But what frustrated me was name the racist. You got to name the racist, or what you're doing is worse. You're creating pandemonium and labeling them all racist. And to me, that's the danger. It's like, look, I'm more liberal of a person. I support a lot of these causes and movements. But when you, and the reason it's personal for me, if you don't know my story, the reason it's personal for me, because I was accused of things that I didn't do. And I was pushed off the internet and out of a job and out of a life. And they tried to destroy me. And this fan base, Ray Fisher's fan base, continues to pull that out and use it against me as evidence that Ray's telling the truth. And it's like, it's the antithesis of not. It's the opposite, right? It's like it's just showing to me they're sheep. They're Borg life. Indeed, like resistance is futile. They will follow Ray to the death no matter what they say. And I got a problem with that. I got a problem against any mob who's going to just sit there and believe what they're told because, hey, celebrity told you so. And the reality is, yeah, my coverage is personal in that I don't like people out there fueling mobs based off of vagueness is definitely something I got a problem with. You're damn right.
Well, okay. I know your story, your particular story. I don't know. Meghan Markle is like the wife of Prince Harry, something like that, right?
Correct. We don't have to get into the whole British royal stuff, but yeah.
I don't know about that, but
she made an accusation that they were checking the skin color of her son because the potential Sunday prince. What would the color of the skin tone be? What if they were black? It was a sort of implication.
That's something that royalty would do, whatever.
But the point is, it became an uproar, and now it's like, oh, the British royals are racist. But they wouldn't say who said it. That's the same thing here. Ray, who said it? I don't think he knows who said it because also remember, it's hearsay. You know what hearsay is, right?
Yeah.
Hearsay, it's like he heard it from someone else. He didn't hear it himself. So we have to trust a third party who we don't know who it is. We don't know what their motivations are. And we don't know if they specifically said one person, if they misheard it, if it was miscommunication, what the full context is. Hearsay is not something I accept when I need to cancel somebody. This is not, I never cancel anybody, but even just to sort of disown somebody, I need more hard evidence. And if that witness is unafraid to come forward, well then, look, it must not be that important to them, in which case, I don't know if I can trust it. And so just because someone told Ray that doesn't mean there might be other motivations behind leaking that information anonymously. To me, that's too dangerous. No, I'm not going to believe that. And I don't know the context. Who said it? You know what I mean? Those are all valid questions to ask.
That's my point. I mean, I know your particular story. I follow your case because I was a huge fan of ScreenJunkies before you were, everything that happened. And I follow your case, and you were wrongfully accused. This is not necessarily the same case. I mean, we don't know. I mean, for starter, the level of the conversation is completely different. I mean, I don't know what kind of legal pressure Ray Fisher might be from Warner Brothers. Who knows? Who knows exactly what's happening behind the scenes? But his choice of word for the high executive, he didn't call them all racist. He says there were enablers. And coming back again to the marketing trends, well, that's what you're doing. I mean, if you are using marketing data to define what kind of skin color are you going to show on the screen, you're enabling that behavior. I mean, it's not necessarily racist. I don't think it's racist. Like I said, I worked in advertisement for years, but you're enabling. I mean, you have to if you want your numbers to be secure or sure or guaranteed. I mean, you can go against the market. Sometimes it works, sometimes doesn't, but not every company does it. So in fact, if they are doing that, I mean, that's the reason, because, okay, you put the example of Iris West, but what about the cop in the Wonder Woman scene? You know, it's a 2-second scene, a cop talking outside, you know, this guy, I don't remember the actor's name from Snatch, you know, they cut that away. Why?
Time. Dude had 4 hours to cut. He had to cut a 2-hour movie for 4 hours.
I'm talking about 2-3-second scenes.
Yeah, it all, dude, I'm an editor. I'm an editor, and it all adds up. It is so, I can't even fathom cutting down a movie from 4 hours to 2 movies. I would have such a headache trying to determine that and separate from pieces. You have to do massive cutting. Massive cutting. If you watch the movie, you can see even the scenes they kept, they were cutting them throughout. There were jump cuts to like get to the action faster. So yeah, you don't have time for 3 seconds of a security guard in a cut that goes from 4 hours to 2 hours. That does it to me as a production person who's edited and done this. That's just he's got to make choices. And the reality is, I bet some editors made those choices before he even saw them. So you're implying not only Joss, but the editors. I'm sure the editors of that movie, some of them were Zach's choices already. And that's even confirmed. Joss said the light reduction that he stopped talking about, this story right here, they already said that was Zach's editors. This wasn't Joss Whedon stuff. So this was already happened before he got there. So it just proves to me we don't know what happened and who was actually responsible for it. So to level that the choice to cut them was racist, I still got a problem with it. Nobody has proved that, especially Ray in his article.
I'm not saying that it's racist. I mean, I never said that.
I mean, this article gets pretty heavy in it, dude. This article gets a lot of implications that there was some racist stuff going on as we go through it. The angry black man, all this stuff. And those are the cases we got. And this is the tell-all that he's put out so far. And I'm sorry, the dude needs to move on, in my opinion. This was a clear set where people didn't get along. I totally buy that there were some assholes in the set, including Joss Whedon. I've never denied that. I totally believe it. I'm not defending Joss Whedon. I'm just defending due process. That's what so many people misunderstand about my videos. I don't defend Joss Whedon. I don't know the guy. Never met the guy. I can't defend him. I don't know Ray Fisher either, but I know Ray Fisher implied I was a racist on his own Twitter. So yeah, that's going to make me more involved, isn't it? I mean, that's the kind of bullshit that Ray Fisher's focused on, is me and Jody. Come on, dude, you got better important things to do than lob, slanderous shit at us. It only goes against his credibility, and it fuels us to make more content. Because of course you got to also remember, I'm making content. I'm making a living here making content. Whether people like me or not, I'm an entertainer. I got a channel, and a lot of my haters can't resist watching my content no matter what they say. So at the end of the day, that's what this is really about. But it's also for me about telling the truth and making sure all sides are heard. And everybody's defending Ray. And I'm not trying to just discredit Ray, but I'm going to call out Ray when I see him talking about stuff without actual specifics and changing his story, which I'm proving he did. Why isn't he talking about the digitally altered light people anymore? That was a serious charge he made in Forbes. That Forbes writer got fired. Joss Whedon threatened lawsuits, and now Ray's not talking about it anymore. I mean, I'm sorry, dude, but that to me is yet more evidence that Ray's talking out of his ass and assuming he says as much in this article. There's a bunch of pieces in this article, which I want to get to with you guys who are watching live. Don't worry. But he says a lot of stuff like, I assumed, and yeah, I mean, how did Hamada not know? Dude, you don't have evidence of any of this, yet you keep telling me this shit is fact. He keeps, did you read this whole article?
Yeah.
And you don't think there were moments in this article where it's very clear that Ray is making clear assumptions?
I think the article is it's very long. I mean, for starters, it has things that doesn't even come to have nothing to do with the subject at hand.
Look at this. Look at Fisher says he was referring. Do I have this on screen? Fisher says he was referring to the September when he said Hamada is the most dangerous kind of enabler. This was huge against Hamada, who had nothing to do with any of this shit. And then it's like, Fisher says he was referring to the September statement that Fisher had refused to cooperate, which he feels Hamada must have known about in advance. Look at this. The dude's out there making slanderous tweets about Hamada because he feels he must have known. Like, that's the kind of shit that we're supposed to believe and just stand with. I'm sorry. This guy pisses me off. That it's his, emperor has no clothes is really what's going on. You can't go out and make assumptions like this, William. I mean, you can't. People's lives are at risk. Why am I not allowed to take that seriously?
There are two actual facts in this article. That Joss Whedon is an asshole, and Ray Fisher has a huge ego. I don't know if because of theater or something. I mean, but you can see that. I mean,
I agree. I'm not going to defend Joss Whedon and say he doesn't have an ego.
I stand with what he's trying to do, but the way he's doing it, I'm not particularly. I mean, I always thought, it's a cultural thing. He's a black guy from the U.S. I'm a black guy from Venezuela. It's a cultural thing. This is the hill he wants to die on. It's cool, but there's a lot of things. I mean, you said it. I mean, there's a lot of assumption. There's a lot of somebody said to me, and he doesn't name names. I mean, you were talking about your video. Give me the name. But he said that he doesn't want to get people in trouble, especially witnesses. So I understand why he doesn't name the name.
But then he goes. Warner Brothers is trying to do it. Well, Warner Brothers, tell him what you do know. Like he actually tweeted a couple weeks ago about the fact. Well, tell him what you found in the investigation. They're not allowed because they can't share the evidence because of the witnesses. So it's like, which one is it? He can't make up his mind. Look, final thought. I'm going to keep you in the back if you want, but I got a few other people waiting. I promise to get more people in, but I'm happy to keep you muted if you want to, in case we need to come back to you. I appreciate it. I think we had a good conversation here. I hope maybe it opens your eyes. Look, I'm not here to bash the guy. I'm just here because he frustrates me.
Yes,
and
there's Andy, you opened my eyes.
there are a lot of people who just think I'm here to bash the guy. I would have a civil conversation with this guy. I don't think he wants that, though, because, look, I can tell you. I'll be honest with you, William, because I appreciate you, and I can tell. I appreciate that you were nice about all this. Yeah, I was a liar in my previous life. I was a cheater. I was not a good person in my previous life to my ex-wife, and I started once you and anybody who's watching this who is cheating on somebody, dude, it is a hole you cannot undig. And it gets worse and worse and worse, and it'll eat at you, and it makes you a terrible person. And in some ways, I'm grateful for sort of what happened to me because it forced me to reevaluate my life and stop a hole I kept digging, and made me sort of stop digging for a moment and slowly look up and go, oh shit, I guess I'm going to start climbing back out of this and try to restart. And I'm grateful I was able to do that. I'm grateful to everybody who's watching who's allowed me to do that. But that's the problem right now. Like, look, when you start telling lies, it's hard to stop. And so I've totally lost my train of thought. I had something important I want to say in that. But the reason I was bringing this up is it's like, look, I
don't think this is just for closings. I understand. I understand when you're coming from. I don't think this is Ray Fisher lying. I think this is Ray Fisher having an oversensitive perception of a lot of things that happens that are normalized by now in Hollywood. And I mean, Gal Gadot, who has a little bit of more experience than Fisher. I mean, he clashed with Joss Whedon. She kept her cool. Ben Affleck, allegedly he wanted to punch Joss Whedon or something. He kept his cool. But Ray Fisher decided to die in this racial hill because of everything that is happening in the country. And I see the point because I have worked, not in Hollywood, but I have worked in a couple of documentaries and film here in Latin America. And there is all this market stuff regarding race that come into play, and you have, as a creator, you have two choices. You either go with it and you secure your profit for the product that you're making it, or you try to go against the markets, and that's dangerous. That's dangerous, especially if you don't have. I mean, these studios obviously have all the money in the world, but when you're in small productions, you have to go with the market. There's no place for let's go woke. Well, the people doesn't want that, so no. So I understand where is he coming from, but I don't think he understands why this is happening.
Well said. Look, I sort of know where I was going, but you're right. Let's just wrap it up. I appreciate you. Hang out in the back room if you want. William, good conversation. Come back anytime. That's that. We made some. I think we made some difference here. I like that. We can communicate. We can prove we can communicate. Let's see if we can continue to do that with these other people. All right, hold on. I'm putting you in the waiting room and I see Adon is in the building. What's up, Adon?
What's up? I heard we have some chat going on about fish.
Oh, we do? Oh, good. Ray Fisher, Fishy Fisher. I got a few more waiting in the. We see a few more here waiting here. Next up was Brandon. We're talking to I Stand With Ray Fisher fans, and that William. I thought we had a really good conversation. I think we ended up getting to the same point. Let's see if Brandon will get there. Are you up to date, Don, on the latest article?
So basically, he came out saying that there's more stuff that was done. He rescinded some comments or revised them, but still nothing that's hard facts.
No
if
hard
I gather
facts.
it.
Correct. A lot of sort of just summary, and there are links there if you want to Google it while you're listening. Feel free to check yourself. But yeah, I mean, we'll go through the article once I get through some of these calls. But this is fun conversation to have. So let's continue the dialogue. All right, Brandon, you're up next. Make sure make sure you're 18. Make sure your webcam is on so we can do this face to face. Make sure we can do that, and make sure that you are civil, respectful in the chat, etc., etc. All right, Brandon, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. You look young. Are you 18?
I'm 19.
Okay, good. All right, just making sure. I don't want to get in trouble with your parents or something putting you on a YouTube channel.
Nah, you're good.
Okay, cool. Well, then I'm complimenting you because you look young. Good job. All right, Brandon. Thank you for calling in. You stand with Ray Fisher, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you have seen some of my coverage, and you've been frustrated by my coverage. Is that a safe assumption?
I mean, I've seen a bit of your coverage. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm frustrated by it. More just, I feel very strongly about the whole situation, and I see certain areas where it feels like it is just a bit personal, a bit extreme, I guess.
Were you able to hear my conversation with William to hopefully get a little bit more insight on that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. So we hopefully don't have to repeat ourselves. But yeah, so jumping off of that conversation, what would you like to add or disagree with?
I think partly, and this may just be me misinterpreting or not seeing certain pieces of coverage, but I think on the subject of race and the way that has been attributed to a lot of the changes in the cuts that were made to the movie, I haven't personally seen race brought into it by anyone who was like involved in the situation and in the movie. Just, things I've seen from people on the internet who have, taken those comments and those ideas and things in that context. So while I feel like there is certain racial motivators to certain aspects of the story, I don't think a big push has been made towards calling out like everyone involved as being racist, certain individuals, certain actions, certain practices as, racist, or as you had said, like microaggressions. But if that makes sense.
So sorry, just so I'm clear, you do think they were racist or not?
I do not think that anyone involved was racist, like outwardly racist, save for maybe a couple. And I don't think that there was a huge push to make it seem like it was racist by like Ray Fisher or anyone else who was involved in the movie. I mostly just saw people on Twitter taking certain things in that context. And like I said, I could be wrong. I could have.
Well, I mean, Ray is labeling it racist. I mean, he's as the article I have here, there's a few things he talks about. The angry black man, as we talked about, the fact that he keeps saying they cut everyone of color from the film, as we talked about with William earlier. It's confusing to me because I don't understand. I mean, there's another one interesting here where he talks about sort of getting this advice from Jeff Johns, where I was trying to find it here, where it's sort of, he makes the suggestion of being more Quasimodo and less Frankenstein. And so, like, here it is. It's coming up right here. Johns told Fisher he should play the character less like Frankenstein, more like kind-hearted Quasimodo. Fisher says that in order to demonstrate the look he wanted, Johns dipped his shoulder and struck Fisher as servile posture. Now, remember, you're Brandon. Brandon, remember, this is the gross, abusive, all the crazy, huge, all caps, awfulness that's happened. Now we're starting to get the information. Just let's remind ourselves, this is the example. One of the examples he's choosing to show us. So the fact that Jeff Johns is telling him to be more like Quasimodo instead of Frankenstein is apparently racist, as he says here. I didn't have any intention of playing him like a jovial, cathedral-cleaning individual. There's a difference between someone born with a disability versus one who had been transformed by trauma. John's representative said Jeff gave a note using fictional characters as an example of sympathetic man who was unhappy and has an inclination to hide from the world, but one whom the audience roots for because he has a courageous heart. Yeah, Quasimodo, take it. There's a million ways you could take that note. But this is yet one more proof to me of Ray being difficult, of Ray constantly pushing back and not being a team player on set. And instead of saying yes and, which is what you're typically do in a team, he's like, no, I'm doing Frankenstein, not Quasimodo. And then he goes, Fisher told Johns it might be one thing for a non-black person to write a character for a comic, but it was another for a black actor to portray that character on screen. It was like he was assuming how all black people would respond rather than taking the advice from the only black person, as far as I know, with any kind of creative impact on the project. This is just frustrating. These implications here why aren't you listening to me? I'm black. I have to know the character. But then, thankfully, Chuck Roven, who mentions, look, I empathize with Ray. His character arc was significant, but it was shortened. I've collaborated with Jeff over many years. He's gracious, humble. Jeff took it upon himself to put Cyborg in the Justice League comics in the first place and has written more about the character than any other individual except for the creator. He loves Cyborg. So here we have this problem, and I'm curious, Brandon, because it's all becoming race. Why can't Ray Fisher accept that maybe Jeff Johns does have some interesting insight on the character of Cyborg? Maybe just because he's not acting and maybe because he's drawn and written and chose to bring Cyborg back into the run and written a lot of the character. Maybe Jeff Johns, as a Lebanese American, maybe he does have some interesting insight on how to play the character or some suggestions. Why is it racial? I'm still confused.
I mean, I think obviously a big part of the pushback is because he was brought on to play the character in a certain way. He was brought on to service one specific creative vision that he understood, that he agreed with, that he was very passionate about. And seeing that get transformed into something that neither he nor the person who had originally brought him in were interested in, me personally, I can understand why that would result in some pushback. And then obviously,
but again, I want to hear you. I'm sorry, but what makes it racist was my question. Everything you just said only adds to the diva part of it, in my opinion, which is what I got flack for early on. When you are an actor of Ray Fisher's standing, let's be honest, he's a nobody at that point. And I get it. He's disappointed. Zack Snyder made a better role. I'll give it to him, sure. But you are a paid actor who's there for a project. And you got to do what the director and producer tell you. Unless they're telling you to punch yourself in the face and do abusive things, whatever. Yeah, you got to read the script they tell you, or you walk. He had every choice to walk. If he wanted to walk away from that movie, he could have. He might have gotten sued. There might have been a contract avoiding it. But he could have done that. Accountability is greater than entertainment. He could have tried to do it. But no, he's a hired actor who is refusing to do what the director and producer are telling him to do. I'm sorry. Why is that okay?
I mean, I don't necessarily think it's fully okay, but also there comes a point where, obviously him being a younger, newer actor, he wants to stick around with this. He wants to stick to something that he's very passionate about.
But now he's not going to be able to.
No, he's not. And that's very unfortunate. But also I can understand why he is not going to stand for what is seen as very common Hollywood practices, unfortunately. He was forced to work in a very hostile work environment, which, no one should have to be subjected to, I would think.
Have you ever worked in the industry? Have you worked on sets?
I mean, I've worked on some fan film things, not necessarily any professional.
Look, I'm not trying to justify Joss Whedon. It sounds like he was a massive asshole. It sounds like he did it on multiple sets. I agree. But it's a very high-stress situation. There's a lot of creative personalities whose heads butt. It is not always a peachy, happy experience. There are tons of breakdowns on set. Tom Cruise just had one. Christian Bale had one. The list is endless of how many sort of bad experiences happen on set. That stuff's common, man. It happens a lot. And it's a bummer when it happens. But the reality is you don't get to go on Twitter and for months continue to label them abusive, racist, and the things that Ray's doing, and not get some pushback or problems. And that's what I'm trying to push out and call. So I'm just trying to get to the point of I still am confused. What are you still fighting for Ray that I don't understand, that I'm being too negative on?
I think it's just the idea that if he is pushed out, if he is silenced, if he's told that's just how it is, you just have to deal with that. It becomes a system that continues to go on and go on and go on. And yes, it's unfortunate. Yes, it happens. Yes, it happens a lot more frequently than it probably should. But the more we raise awareness about it, the more we push back against that treatment towards anyone, not even just like people of color having their roles cut from the movie, having their careers threatened by one or two shitty, people working on the set, or trying to have those things pushed away and kind of, covered up by people who are higher up, like anyone on a set. Like, obviously, yes, it is a high stress situation, even on the couple of like fan film projects I've worked on, which are relatively, small scale productions. We're working with the $5 in our pockets, the costumes that we made from, clothing that we had in our closets, and like whatever we could scrape together to make them. Even that has had its very large challenges. It's very stressful, long days. And I recognize that that's going to create some conflict. That's going to create some chaos. But at the same time, I don't think it should be a common and recognized practice that, if you are newer to the industry, or if your role is less significant, that you just have to shut up and take the abuse, to take the shit, and then, just move on to the next project, act like it didn't happen, and be fine with it the next time that it happens. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, but he made that clear. We've heard that side. I agree Joss Whedon's an asshole. We're not talking about Joss Whedon now. Now we're talking about Jeff Johns and Walter Hamada, Toby Emmerich. He's thrown a million people under the bus. And even I'm trying to find in the article, he even sort of admits he's over the Joss Whedon part of it. He's like, yeah, look, it's no more about sort of how Warner Brothers cut the investigation. But I'm sorry, I don't understand. Hamada told him, he says so in the interview. Hamada's like, look, Whedon's an asshole. I'm not hiring him again. He doesn't work here anymore. That wasn't enough for him. Like, literally, that's what the outcome was. It's the outcome that actually finally happened. And it had already happened. They had made it clear, yeah, Whedon's done. We're not doing any more with him. Let's move on. And he couldn't move on. What is the outcome supposed to be?
It's not just Joss, though. Like, Joss is one part of the problem. He is a bad individual who is enabled for years by multiple people, not even just the Warner Brothers people, the ones who were working on the Justice League movie at the time. Obviously, he has had a very long and fruitful career in Hollywood. And if we're assuming that this isn't a recent behavior that he's picked up, obviously he's been enabled for a while. And if he's being enabled to do these things, how many other people are? If we don't push for better treatment, if we don't push for actual consequences for these actions, how many more people get away with this? How many more situations do we have like a Joss Whedon, like a Bryan Singer, like any sort of person like that who, gets away with all of these things for decades and doesn't face any consequences for that? You know what I mean?
But he did face consequences. He's now removed from the show. And it wasn't Ray who did it. The cast of Buffy did it. I mean, honestly, let's be real. The Buffy cast is the one that really stabbed the dagger in his heart. Because I think, look, Charisma Carpenter came forward with evidence. I'm sorry, I still don't see what happened to Ray aside from Joss being a dick on the set. Everything that Ray has been hyping, he has not delivered to me in evidence or stories that make me say, yeah, that was worth it, Ray. I really don't think he has. I think, if anything, he's made things more problematic, and he's made it more difficult for real victims to come forward, because they're going to be like, what is this? Is this another Ray Fisher issue where you're sad your part got cut? I genuinely think he's actually done more harm than good, because Charisma Carpenter, she's brave. Like, she's brave. I'm sorry. I don't see anything Ray has done or that has been done to him that warrants it. He's doing it for others. He constantly says it, yet he's still a victim. Which is it?
Well, you have to think about also, everyone is affected by traumatic situations differently. What may seem slightly inconsequential to you or I, because even I agree there are parts of this to me that do feel like that isn't necessarily a gigantic issue. Maybe that's not worth making this big of a fuss over. But that's also me thinking about it from my perspective and how I would react in that certain situation. And obviously you can only, explain how you feel like you would react in that situation or how that situation would make you feel. But obviously neither of us are Ray. Neither of us know how the situation has affected him personally, mentally, emotionally. We can see sort of career-wise, or we can speculate career-wise, but that's only one aspect of him and his life and how he's being affected by the whole situation. So, while yes, it may not seem like much to you or I, if it's something that is affecting him...
It didn't affect him until Black Lives Matter. He read the statement at Comic-Con. He supported Joss. He says in his own article, he apologized to Joss. All of this got worse after Black Lives Matter, and then apparently when he spoke to the witnesses. So if we can't hear from the witnesses, and the investigators have heard from the witnesses, and they've deemed it, you know what? Yep, nothing here really warrants anything else happening. Thanks for coming forward, Ray. Brave of you. Good job. Let's all move forward now. Joss got let go politely. I'm a little confused with what else he wants. I mean, he says it here. He wants Hamada, Jeff Johns, all of them to be scorched. And you've shown me nothing, nor has Ray, that warrants they should be scorched forever. And that's really what it is. So final thought, because I got a couple people in the wings. I appreciate the conversation, but final thought from you that you want to add there, Brandon.
I just wanted to say, I don't necessarily feel like they deserve to be scorched or scorned from Hollywood forever or anything like that. I just think that we need to put things in place to make sure that those types of situations don't happen anymore, that those kinds of situations and those methods of being enabled are no longer a thing that can happen or will happen, because I don't think that is the way that things should be run anymore. And obviously there is a lot of shady stuff in Hollywood that a lot of us probably don't even know about. A lot of us do know about and don't talk about as much as they need to be talked about. But that's the main thing that I support, is that there should be not only consequences for the people who commit the actions, but those who enable those actions to be committed.
Hear you, but the problem is, what are the actions? That's where we're still stuck. I don't know what the actions are. We have some hearsay and some stuff that you even alluded was a little extreme of Ray to say. So again, I'm all for accountability. I'm all for not people enabling toxic behavior. Absolutely. The only thing I can see here is Joss Whedon might have been a bit of an asshole. Major asshole. Sure, I'll give it to you. It sounds like they got rid of him. Sounds like the biggest problem was removed. And it sounds to me, if we're being honest, I genuinely think Jeff Johns and Ray Fisher just had some miscommunications. And maybe Jeff Johns even said something stupid and didn't mean it the way he said it, and Ray just can't get over it. And I think that's honestly where we're stuck.
Maybe that's the case. Obviously, neither of us will know because we weren't there. We don't know every single person's story, every single person's perspective. I just think that this specific situation, to me, is emblematic of other situations in Hollywood like this and other problems like this. And if this is the thing that can raise awareness and raise solutions to fix certain issues like this, then maybe that can be a good thing.
Well, and I appreciate you. I agree with you in theory, but I disagree with you in activation of what he actually did in this. I don't think it's going to help. I think he has made a little bit of a mockery of it in not coming forward with better evidence. I have a lot of people in the industry have talked to me behind the scenes. I know people don't want to believe I still have access, but I do. And a lot of working industry people are very, and a lot of people of color as well are very frustrated with him and the way he handled this, because there's been such a spotlight on this case. And at the end of the day, A lot of people think he's just being a diva. A lot of people think he's just upset that his part got cut, and he's defending Zach. And some people are going to say that was enough. It is what it is. But for abuse and the terms he's using, I think it's a little bit of a boy cried wolf, and it's the charges don't justify the months long investigation and social media outrage that he's done. So, look, man, I think we at least civilly can disagree to disagree. Yeah. And I appreciate you coming on here. Final thought. Go ahead.
One more thing?
Yeah, real quick, Brandon. Go ahead. Last thing.
Okay. I just wanted to shout out my friends from Staten Island who kind of helped me out with getting my nerves under control for coming on tonight, and I want to thank you for having me, even if we did disagree. I'm glad that we could have a civil, calm, respectful discussion.
No, and I appreciate you, Brandon. I hope you felt like we did have a civil conversation, even though we disagree. I think it's all about us trying to be more civil. And there's a lot of non-civil people on there. And just because I make a video doesn't mean I'm here to try and destroy the guy or talk shit. But yeah, I appreciate you. Hopefully this will bring a little bit of respect between us to say, fine, the intent isn't as malicious as we think, and I hope that goes both ways. So I appreciate this. Good conversation. Stay in touch, my man. And thank you for watching.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Nice work. All right, we got 2 for 2. That were pretty solid conversations there. I'm glad we could have these conversations. We got Lewis in the building. Or did Lewis leave?
Yeah, there he is. Popcorn Planet.
What up, Lewis? And Don's back as well. Hey guys, sorry you're on a night where we're having these fans. This is a pretty good conversation, right?
A lot of civil conversation, a lot of discussion, a little bit of disagreement, but I like how the tone is keeping everybody calm.
Yeah.
What are the topics you guys haven't touched upon?
So we're just talking Ray Fisher. We had
I know, but there's a topic. There's a topic involved with this that everyone's overlooking.
Oh, you want to bring it up?
Yeah, I want to bring it up.
I got 2 more fans in the way. And now, if you are watching, I saw a couple people like, hey, if you are someone who is a passionate I Stand with Ray Fisher fan, even if the mods are blocking you, come on, DM me. I will check my Twitter DMs in a second. Message me, DM me, whatever. I will check in a little bit, and I will give you the link. I don't want to open it up yet, but I'd love to have some more civil conversations. If someone out there is like, hey, I could argue this better, reach out at Andy Signore down below on Twitter, and I will send you the link. Go ahead, Lewis. What did you want to bring up, though?
Seriously, though, why is Cyborg supposed to be the main character? And everyone's ignoring me when I ask this. In a Justice League movie. Booyah. Why is Cyborg written as the main character or the heart of a Justice League movie? Wasn't he a Teen Titan? And I'm being serious, guys. And also, why are the actors dictating script? And I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think Ray Fisher saw other actors direct the movie for their own part and is just doing what everyone else did. Jared Leto, he created that Joker. He didn't got no directions. He created that Joker from scratch. And I think that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to, write in his own Cyborg story arc. But why are we watching DC movies where like the main character is not even a Justice League character? For the Justice League movies, not even a main character of the Justice League.
I might be able to answer somewhat to that, not to the
I got
highlight.
another question, Adon. All the people on Twitter, they're upset because people of color's scenes got cut. And I do get upset when people of color, me being one, do not get introduced into a movie that they could have been in. Mm-hmm. All these virtual signaling on Twitter. Did you guys watch Shazam? I doubt it. Shazam was the most multiracial, most diverse movie in as far as comic books that I've seen ever. And it was fucking good, man. It was a good movie. Did you guys watch that? People crying about that? No. But see, the thing is with Shazam, it didn't in the marketing, it was fun. And it had these actors, these great actors. It didn't pat itself on the back going, hey, did you know we're going to have a multiracial family? Aren't we great? Pat us in the back. Is that what you guys want? Come on. Anyways, rant over.
Shazam!
I mean, for the first question, like the short answer, it is, and they redid the Justice League when they did the New 52 after Flashpoint, and Cyborg was a member of the like the starting roster. But in all honesty, like as far as the character goes in the comics and whatnot, he's not pivotal to the team. They really could have, you know, I saw, other than the fact that they were using him for the end solution, which technically, if you watch Snyder Cut, there's another character that turns out to be more important than a Cyborg by the end. So that's just how I see it. But
what character? Well, this
Flash.
one. Yeah.
Flash turns out to be more important than Cyborg by the end of it.
It's true.
You know, but I digress.
I got to thank
It's
Wancho.
a shame
I
too
forgot-
seeing people from other countries calling in Popcorn Planet, thinking that this country, that all we think about is this race wars and stuff like that. I'm here to say no, we're not like that. Those are the people that get the most attention. Look at Popcorn Planet, for instance. All the cultures come here together. You know, all these talented people from different backgrounds. So please, if you're watching from outside the country, we're not all like that. It's the problem is that's what gets most of the press. So that's what I wanted to say. Because you had
well said.
a caller earlier.
William was talking that earlier. Well said.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure I called out. I forgot Wancho earlier sent a $5 super chat. Thank you. As the mighty Jay-Z once said, you got to get that dirt off your shoulder. Facts. I always loved the Gray album. Where they did. Did you guys hear that? Where they took Jay-Z's the Black album and mixed it with Beatles the White album. And I forget the DJ who did it. Oh, it's fantastic. So it's got Beatles loops to Jay-Z raps. Oh, it's really. There was a really good dirt off your shoulder.
Since we're talking about
mashup.
music real quick, I want to give my, positive feelings to the family of DMX and him too. I don't know how he's doing, but I heard he's not doing very well as of a couple days ago. Yeah.
Oh, Exit Wounds. What a film. I'm being serious. DMX and Steven Seagal and Exit Wounds.
Romeo Must Die is where I remember him.
Yeah.
He was better in that one, but it was a smaller role.
I love his
Exit
music.
Wounds
Loved
is a
his-
fun film.
I loved his action parts. Yeah, I hope he's doing okay. Thank you for pointing that out. It's true. Actor, rapper, hyphenate, multi-hyphenate actor, rapper, everything, producer. Yeah, prayers go out to him. All right, well, we got a couple more in the wings. I see two Jordans. Which Jordan is which? Can you both? All right, good. I got permission. One was underage, and we just got permission. Great. Thank you for saying that. And okay, cool. And I don't know which one's which. So we're going to go. Jordan Rudd has been waiting longer. So let's throw in Jordan Rudd as our next contestant on Let's Talk Ray Fisher. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Jordan Rudd is in the building. Jordan, set up your audio. Your video is on. Great. Remember, make sure you're 18 or up so I don't get any trouble. I don't want to be some James Charles person here. Jesus. I don't want to get any trouble here, and I want to make sure you stay civil, respectful, like the past two, or we will boot you, but hopefully you will be. You'll be good. All right, Jordan, you there? Can you hear me? Jordan's audio is not on. You got to click turn your audio on. It's a option to let them accept your audio. I see your video, but you connecting. Your audio should be next. Once you click your audio, we should hear it. I can't hear you. I see your mouth, but I can't hear you. Make sure you mute your YouTube when you do get it fixed, but you got to click on the audio option to turn on your audio. That way you'll hear us and it. While we wait for Jordan to figure out his Zoom, make sure any other support. Thank you guys who have supported Collaborative Kiwi Studios, Wancho, Maximilian, and we had two more here. That's what it was. I knew there was two more. Keep it coming. 2 drink minimum, we ask here as you watch the show to support. Django Fett, what's up, Django? For Ray made it about race at the beginning of BLM and the barber. It's true. And he doesn't talk about the barber anymore, does he? He let that one die, too. And then Maximilian sent another one. Thank you, Maximilian, through the PayPal. I appreciate that. You didn't leave a note that time. Oh, it's the same one. Okay, awesome. And I think I'm up to date. Thank you for that Cash App, though. Django Fett. And thank you, Bunda, for being a great mod, as well as I see K-Dots is in there. You two, The Widow. What's up, you guys? Shout out Myra. Shout outs to my mods for keeping it fun out there and nice. I appreciate you. You can get the pinned comment over there to donate and help the channel. If you can, it supports. And it's like any show. If you're having fun, drop a couple bucks in the tip jar there, and one of those options on the Linktree link, and you'll be supporting your creators.
Oh, and don't forget that Andy and I and Jody and everyone involved, we talk about like cool projects we want to do, but they cost money. So all the proceeds, I guarantee you, are going back into the studio and stuff. Trips, meetings, equipment, new shows. So I know Andy doesn't want to talk about it a lot during his show, but we do have meetings about improving the quality here and helping the community, not only through the rest of the pandemic, but after we get out of it, we're going to be hooking up with movie passes and stuff like that. So, and more and more content.
Okay, exactly.
I'd buy that for $1.
All right, Jordan, you're on the line. Jordan, this is the Jordan. Hey, how you doing, Jordan? This is you're the one who just sent me your parents' permission to be on here, correct? Because you do look young. I want to make sure I have.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
That was you. Yeah, great. Awesome. I see you now. Welcome. Jordan is under 18, but I made it. He was very passionate. I said, I need a clip from your mom or something, so I know that it's okay for you to be here because, look, I don't want to put kids out here unless they're out, but you're here, so bravo. Welcome to the show. All right,
That's my son's age.
Yeah, you stand with Ray Fisher, and I guess you've had problems with some of my coverage. Go ahead. What is your thoughts?
Okay, so I partially stand with Ray Fisher. Since he came out with that tweet back in July last year, I doubted him because he didn't really give specifics. So I've always tried to be as objective as possible regarding the situation. Okay, so I've actually watched your content for a bit, and I've agreed with a lot of what you and I've agreed with a lot of what you and I have agreed with a lot of what you were saying. But then after this article came out today, my opinions really started to change because he gave specifics. And certain things like when he said that Walter Hamada didn't interfere with the investigation, and then he clarified what he meant by that, and everything that I was confused by or didn't really agree with, he kind of gave clarification today, and so that's why my opinions have changed. So I'm objective. I haven't blindly agreed with everything he said, but I haven't completely refuted everything he said either. So I've tried to be as objective as possible.
So what's your problem? I guess where do we disagree? What's the problem you have with this?
My attention got caught today when you tweeted, and I responded with you saying, that Jeff Johns had some great points, and that the main problem was that he just couldn't have creative impact into the story. But in my opinion, if you read the article, my opinion is not the fact that he couldn't have impact in his creative, like what he says in the movie and stuff like that. It was a matter of representation and how they assumed that they knew the culture better than he did himself. That's really my only problem. And Joss Whedon, everything going out like that. And I know a few weeks ago when the Sabrina actress came out and said that Joss Whedon was a bad person, and you said that still doesn't really make sense. I think that just is further examples of how Joss Whedon can be very abusive on set. That's very sense.
Well, I do, because I'm refreshing. I do want to give you props because that's why I was getting a lot of hate from Snyder fans, and Jordan here was. It's always interesting to know some of these people are kids, guys. That's why I wanted him to get here to prove to us. I don't disrespect you with the word kid, but you seem very smart for your age. But what I got for Jordan, he was out there amongst all these toxic trolls. And Jordan was one who was like, hey, guys, tone down those accusations. And Andy, he proved his innocence. So I appreciated that. And someone as young as Jordan is already out there doing that on my behalf. I was like, all right, well, good on you. But yes, as you were out there talking, you were you really had a problem with Jeff Johns, et cetera, et cetera. And we were talking about the catchphrase now that I'm going back to check with this. I guess I'm stuck on it's. What's your biggest problem with me in my coverage of it? Because again, I'm not trying to hate on Ray. As you said, I want to have all the evidence. I guess, do you really believe, without a benefit of the doubt, that we should just stand with Ray Fisher no matter what?
No, and as I said, I've always tried to be as objective as possible, and I think my issue is that I think are just not willing to change your opinions. Like, I've always tried to give the benefit of the doubt to Ray. I love Stargirl. I love Jeff Johns comics. I'm a fan of him. I love the Avengers. I love their work, but it's a matter of giving accountability when due. And I think that the idea that, he's just saying this for, trying to be famous and not really, actually trying to, the idea of that he wants to just do this just for clout, that's what I have a problem with, because I feel like there's an actual undertone in this situation that we're just a little ignoring.
So, all right. So it sounds like we're in more in agreement.
Partially, yeah.
Than disagreement. All right. So, look, as I've said, I think Joss isn't the best person, but at the same time, I feel like, is there some disagreements between Jeff and Ray that could have actually happened? Sure. At the end of the day, I think, yeah, that there's some stuff that went down that seems, that sucked. I just don't think it warrants the level of months-long stuff that Ray has currently done. So, I mean, I do disagree. All my coverage is just sort of pointing out the fact, Ray, okay, you got your point across. It's time to move on. Do you feel like Ray should move on?
I don't actually think it's only Ray. Like in this article, it also says that both Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins had an issue, and they took it up with the head of Warner Brothers. And then in the same leak article on Reddit or something like that said the exact same thing happened, and also said that Ben Affleck planned to storm out the set with all the other cast members, and everything else in that was proven legit today. So it's not just Ray Fisher that is experiencing these problems. I think, Ray Fisher, you said that he should just move on, and I feel like he said himself that he doesn't necessarily want these people to be fired. He doesn't want them to, just be let go from their positions. He just wants to ensure that this never happens again. And I think this is all about raising an issue, bringing awareness to the situation in Hollywood. And I think that's the main problem behind this. And the fact that people think that they know his culture better than he does. And I'd say that that's not the case here. It's rather than, him just wanting to have his voice heard and how his character is represented in the movie. And, the abuse that he experienced and the other cast members.
All right. Well, there you go. You're similar to the last argument we heard from Brandon about the fact that he's opening up to stop this kind of behavior in the future. I hear you. I stand by the fact I don't think Ray has actually helped that. I think he's made it. I really do think the accusations weren't as strong as he sort of made them seem like they were, and I do think he comes across a little petty and a little childish, personally, and a little hurt that his part got cut, and it did. To be fair, it did. I understand why he's frustrated. I think Zack Snyder is a bigger victim in this situation than Ray Fisher. I think what the studio did to him and took advantage of the film and the things they put him through, that's who really should have this. And I still do think that Warner Brothers says it in the article that their sources say they really do think that Zack Snyder was sort of part of the reason behind it all. That he was, I want to find the exact quote, but that he was that he was sort of using Fisher, which then obviously Ray Fisher got very upset about. But here it was. Warner sources contend that Fisher was being manipulated by Snyder, who hoped to reclaim control of the DC film universe. This was a very telling reveal to come from Warner sources that Hollywood Reporter put in the piece. And a lot of Snyder fans don't want to acknowledge this, and obviously Snyder denies it here. But, I mean, this only confirms what Jody heard, and I know a lot of people don't like Jody, but his conversation with Clay Enos, it was legit. I feel confident in Jody's reporting on that one. And yeah, they want Warner Brothers to burn. I've heard it from other sources now too. They are livid with Warner Brothers still to this day on the way they were treated after everything that happened to his daughter. And you know what? They have some reason to be. But Ray, I'm sorry. I don't think Ray is the victim as much as Zach was. So final thought there, Jordan. I appreciate you coming in. Go ahead. What's your final word?
Well, I was just going to say regarding you saying that Snyder and stuff influencing Fisher. You said before that you don't necessarily agree with everything Ray said because it's all hearsay, right?
That's hard to hear you. Say it one more time.
Can you hear me?
Now go ahead. Say it one more time.
Sorry. You said that you don't necessarily agree with everything Fisher said because it's all hearsay, right? And he's assumed stuff.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, so here it's also saying that Warner sources are assuming that Snyder manipulated Fisher. There's no actual evidence to suggest that.
Right, but I mean, Warner Brothers, Hollywood Reporter is putting their reputation on the line by putting that out there, just like Ray is. So I take this as seriously as theirs. The fact that this your point of being, well, why do we believe one and why don't we believe the other? It's valid. I hear you. It's a good comeback. I'm not going to dispute that. Sure, we're trusting one source and the other, but this is the Hollywood Reporter has lied. I'm not going to deny that. I know reporters at the Hollywood Reporter who have a bias, but this just makes a lot of sense. I don't understand Ray's motivation. I don't understand Ray's, like, this makes sense to me because of what they've been doing, the ongoing battle, the things I've heard. This all adds together, and it's encouraging reports I've already heard from trusted sources, my own. So to me, Yeah, this holds water. Now, is this a fact? No, I didn't say it was. At the same time, though, that if you don't believe this, why do you believe Ray?
But why do you think that by putting a bad look on the studio, what makes you think that they wouldn't like say, okay, we've been a bad person, now let's restore the Snyderverse? Like, this does more harm than good on the studio and would discourage them even further from restoring the Snyderverse, in my opinion at least, if they wanted to make a bad look for the studio and call them out on all that bullshit. Like, why would they do that to themselves if their end goal was to bring back the DC film universe by Snyder?
Well, the end goal was for Zack was to take over. And I think I think Ray Fisher's fight with the studio and calling out Hamad and everybody else only hurt the movement. I genuinely believe it. I think Sarnoff made that clear in her statements. They don't want to be involved with this fandom that never accepts the wins and constantly battles back. Is really, and I want to get to get your last thought because I want to get to Don and Lewis and we got another person wing. But yeah, I mean, genuinely, I don't think this. I think they thought it was going to help, and I think there's still more coming from Zack. From what I've heard, there's potential if Zack decides to do it, which I've heard he wants to do it and may do it. There's a tell-all article Zack will do to really show how crappy Warner Brothers was during him doing that thing. And honestly, I bet you that one's real. I totally believe that one's real. After everything I've heard, I bet you some stuff went down. But that's not associated with Ray did because he wasn't there when the whole stuff with Ray went down. So they're connected in a way that I feel like Ray is just standing up for his friend. I genuinely believe it. And I think they both have the same goal, which is to take over Warner Brothers and restore the Snyderverse and kick out all the people that had a problem with the film. Because don't forget, this has been a long-going issue with Snyder versus Warner Brothers, well before Ray Fisher started making complaints. And Zack and Ray have a lot of the same common enemies, which to me is very convenient, is what I'll say. But anyway, last word. Go ahead. Final word before you go, Jordan.
Yeah, I just think Zack Snyder and Ray Fisher would be smart enough not to wanted to restore Snyder and actually, attack one of those executives because I would discourage them before going on with it. But yeah. Channel Force, I thank you for having me on this show. Obviously, I know we disagree on the situation quite a bit, but I thank you enough for respecting my opinion and for bringing me onto the show and DMing me. And of course, as I will defend you if people make false accusations against you, because that is not. I want to go that low of the card that we get a bad reputation amongst ourselves, that we make up lies to defend what you think is our lies. So yeah, that's just what I really have to say. And I thank you for hearing me out on this thing.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for defending me. It's depressing I have to have kids defend me about such serious topics, but hey, man, you're learning early, I suppose. So good on you for at least going for the facts, and good on you for having a civil conversation, and we can agree to disagree and do it respectfully. Bravo, sir. You are a good. I enjoy. I hope you go on to good things. Stay in touch, my man. And yeah, let's look at each other's back out there. We can disagree to disagree, agree to disagree, but we can, at least as long as we can do it respectfully. I appreciate that. So thank you, Jordan, for calling in. Good to meet you, my man. And thanks to your mom for sending the invite over. Very nice of her to sort of let you do that. It's a gutsy move on both your parts, so I appreciate it. Give a round of applause in the chat for Jordan here. Thank you, my man. Keep stay at school.
And also, if people want to catch up with me, they can check out my YouTube channel, which is just my name. So yeah.
There you go, Jordan's name. I appreciate it, my man. Have a good one. See you later.
You too.
Well, that was cool. That was a good conversation. I was worried because he was a kid, but yeah, good to get all. It's one thing we got to remember. As today happened, I was like, I'm talking to a lot of 15-year-olds. I got to remember. Stop getting attacking too viciously, even though they're being vicious to you. This is a lot of teenagers that are just having this problem. And no disrespect to Jordan, I think good on him for actually being a solid one.
You're a kid a little bit the time of your life. You're an adult for a very long time. So for him being called a kid, don't get insulted by that. That's good.
Yeah, no, trust me, being a kid is a good thing. We got one chat here. Bunda says, Nerd Report, Sal Che Cha, Cho Ri Zo Puro Ko. Yes. Are you trying to campy at me? Did I just say something I shouldn't say, Bunda?
I made one mistake a month ago. I accidentally called my channel Nerd Report.
Oh, don't admit it. It's never going to end now.
And there, he put in his computer, his super alpha brainiac computer, and he's been bringing it up in my dreams. I'm in the bathroom and I hear Nerd Report.
Oh, man. Someone deleted the comment. I don't know why. Don't delete the comments. Did you delete it? Did the person delete it or the mod delete it? I still have it here. So I'm going to call it out. Easy does it. Andy, you literally let your co-host Jody's Corner attack Dan Murrell with personal insults because he liked the Snyder Cut. How are you any different than the Snyder cult? You and Jody are hypocrites. Because I know Dan Murrell and you don't, for one. And I've had many, many arguments with him. And I think Jody's allowed to call out a personal... Dude, a critic coming out there, putting his opinion out, is a public figure. Dan Murrell is not a private citizen anymore. He is a public figure, as is his girlfriend, who I've called out as well, who's still, I think, on the Schmodown. Anyway, who was a fan that I hooked him up with. Let's not forget, if we're going to really talk Dan Murrell, you're going to bring it up and talk about hypocrites, let's talk about the fact that Dan Murrell is dating a woman who talked to me and flirted with me first and then ended up with Dan Murrell and now is on YouTube channels. If we're going to talk hypocrites about Dan Murrell, let's be honest about it. Easy does it, shall we? Since you're going to pay to talk about it with me. Yeah, we can talk about hypocrites. I try to talk about it privately. He doesn't want to, but I'm going to defend my name because the reality is the two of them have said a lot of things behind the scenes and publicly. But yeah, no, I don't think we're hypocrites for calling out Dan Murrell's review. A personal insult.
Could I say something real quick, Andy?
You can, but it's a take. And I think Jody's take was accurate. And knowing Dan, I know Dan sometimes reacts to toxic people and he doesn't want to get involved. And sure, could he have liked the movie? It's possible, but I think Jody's take of the fact that Dan was afraid, and a lot of critics is what really the comment was, a lot of critics we think gave more genuinely mediocre to positive reviews just out of fear of seeing, like, I don't want to get involved in this mess. Better to encourage them and be positive to them and get those views versus actually be critical and deal with the toxic hate that you're going to get if you're negative, which is, let's be honest, what you're going to get. Dan doesn't like that. Dan avoids that at all costs. So, sure, could he have genuinely liked the movie? Absolutely. Could Jody also be correct, though? Absolutely. So, it's a fair take. He's a person. He's a public figure. Suck on it. There you go. Go ahead. What were we going to say, though, Lewis?
Well, first, I got to deal with a couple of things here. So, this is my last statement. I'll probably come back before 9 maybe or after get some stuff done. But, hey, the super chat, that question, you let Jody do this. No one lets Jody do anything. He does what he does.
Facts.
No one here is let do anything. We do what we want. I don't know what kind of company you work for or what organization or what YouTube channels you guys are watching, but no one lets anyone do anything. We do what we do. So Jody's his own person. Andy didn't let him and whatnot.
I can't let
Everyone's
Jody
an
do
individual,
anything. Thank
so.
you. Exactly, Lewis.
So, all right. I'll see you guys in a bit.
Thanks, man. Good to see you. Pop in anytime. But yeah, I don't think he was a hypocrite. I think he made an opinion, and you could disagree with it all you want. But Don, what do you think? Public figures, if you're out there doing YouTube reviews, are they up to? Someone can make it about me if they want. They can make it about Jody. It feels like once you put yourself out there and you have 50,000, 100,000 followers, it seems like at that point you're open to criticism. No?
Yeah, I mean, I would expect, even right now, like I only have 190 followers. I'm like low fish on the barrel in comparison to everybody else that comes on as guests. I would anticipate and expect there to be potential negative comments here and there coming up. I don't get them, but if they were to come, I wouldn't be surprised. Because I'm out there. I'm making comments. I'm making statements. I'm reviewing products, and people are not going to see or agree with where I'm coming from, and people will make comments about how potentially I look, how I act, the display of my background, and that I would anticipate. So I would say if you're having 100K, 1 million followers, whatever, that is going to be part of the picture and part of the program. And it's probably why a lot of celebrities nowadays, they don't have social media accounts because they don't want to bother with that. They stay off the net in that capacity. And I can see that logic behind it very much. So if Dan's going to be out there criticizing stuff and whatnot, I'm quite sure he's already aware that people are going to come at him one way or the other.
And they could be right, wrong, but that's the beauty of freedom of speech, is have your opinions on everybody's take. Mm-hmm. And check out Nerd Tots if he doesn't have enough subscribers there. Come on, go help my buddy. Go subscribe to Nerd Tots right now. Here's the link. Nerd Tots. I appreciate it. Go give him some love. He does plays, and I'll be showing up there and we're doing more streams and stuff. We're gonna watch some anime and stuff, so stay tuned. Go support Adon just so we can get to a level that's bigger than that. There you go. Nerd Tots. I just did it. All right. A lot of people in the chat. Thank you guys so much for all the support and stuff. Don't forget to tip your supporters. And then I think we got a couple more coming in. Where was it? Oh, this, I think he got timed out. That's what Bunda said. Okay, got it. So that's all good, Bunda. Appreciate you. I just was curious if someone actually did delete it or if it was timed out because of earlier. All right. And then we had Collaborative Kiwi Studios. What's up, my man? Always good to see you, Tyler. Nerd Report for life. More of these adults need to show their face instead of hiding behind a keyboard. Facts. And I got to say, very refreshing tonight to these, I'm going to say it, adults and one child, but grown people, respectful people who have not only come on civilly and had a disagreement, but we had it civilly, but we're able to show their faces. It's so rare, so easy to hide behind that Jared Leto Joker emoji. But the reality is, saying it to someone's face takes it a whole nother level. Booyah! I see Vito in the chat. Vito, we got one more fan I'm about to engage with, and then you're welcome to call in if you like. And if anybody out there is watching, if you're tuning in and you want to confront me about my Ray Fisher stories, bring it on. Let's have the conversation because that's what this is about. All right, we got one more now. Jordan, I think his camera is working. Jordan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Now it works. Welcome, sir, to the chat.
Awesome.
Good to see you, my man. Have you been watching the show a bit? You're up to date on what we've already sort of discussed a bit?
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, welcome to the show. Let's hear it. So where do you want to start? You're the one who wanted to reach out. You had problems with what I was talking about, my coverage array. The floor is yours. Tell me what.
All right. So, like, I don't believe, right, that, like, I think, all right, Joss Whedon's an asshole. We all know that. Obviously, he's got, like, a thing with women after the Charisma Carpenter stuff, and now they're saying Gal Gadot, too. Like, and the whole boob scene in Hostas League was just, like, like, hearing that story, whether it's true or not, he's got a thing with women, and you hear it once, it probably happens twice, right? So, like, you've got that, but disregarding all of that, the race thing is, like, I don't think what they did was racist, right? Like, or intentionally racist, I should say. But, like, when you have, like, so he's the heart of the movie, right? And you can say, like, oh, why is Cyborg the heart of the Justice League movie? Like, that was the direction that they chose to go with the character. And when he's the only lead in the movie that's a person of color, and he's supposed to be this integral role in the movie, to have that stripped away for him to be, like, and for him to be just, like, a throwaway character, if you ask me, in Justice League 2017. Like, he really is. It's nothing spectacular. Like, the end's cool when he gets, like, the C on his chest, but other than that, like, what is there for the character? Like, there's really no real development for the character at all. It's just, like, whatever, he's here, he's the black guy.
Right.
That's how I looked at it.
But what's abusive and racist and all that stuff?
All right, so I don't think. All right, so the abuse thing, I do think he's being a little dramatic. I'm not gonna lie there. I do think he's being a little bit dramatic with the abuse thing. I don't think anybody, except for Joss Whedon, I think, okay, yeah, sure, obviously, but, like, I don't think, like, Jeff Johns was being, like, purposely racist by any means. His son is mixed. His ex-wife is black, I believe.
And he got in a lot of trouble. I saw a lot of people, oh my God, look at Jeff Johns using I have a black wife card. I'm just like, what the hell else are you supposed to prove you're not racist? I mean, there are ways to prove you're not racist. Yeah. That's one of them.
He's got a black child. I mean, like, I'm mixed. That's like my mom. Somebody calling my mother a racist. You know. Like,
and in fact, can I? You just reminded me. I want to, because Nadria, whatever her name is. God, I really don't like her. And I've talked to some people who know that whole experience and really don't like her because she really did ruin the show. She was really awful to work with. But she says this example. I haven't spoken to Jeff since the day on Krypton when he tried to tell me what is and not a black thing. She tells now here's the example. Tucker tells that John objected when a black female character's hairstyle was changed in scenes that took place on different days. I said, black women, we tend to change our hair frequently. It's not weird. It's a black thing. And he said, no, it's not. And then John spoke. What what were standard continuity notes for a scene are being spun in a way that are not personally offensive to Jeff, that are not only personally offensive to Jeff, but to people that know who he is, know the work he's done, and know the life he lives. As Jeff has personally seen firsthand the painful effects of racial stereotypes concerning hair and other cultural stereotypes, having been married to a black woman who he was with for a decade, and his second wife, Asian American, as well as son is mixed race. They're using this as sort of like, oh, way to play the black. I have a black friend card. But it's like, you guys are delusional. He's literally talking about, well, no, I know the problem firsthand because I have an African-American wife who had to deal with the racial stereotypes of her hair, all da-da-da-da-da. So it's like, yeah, he actually does have some insight on this, doesn't he? Wouldn't you, if you're married to a African-American woman, black woman, wouldn't you know a little bit about how she does her hair every day and the struggle and what that's like? That's firsthand knowledge that now they're not trying to say, well, oh yeah, now he's just playing. Look how stupid his responses are because, I got a black wife. Racists don't have black wives. They don't like black people. Like that's the definitive race. Now we could talk about microaggressions and racist actions, and there's things that could still happen. Sure, I guess. But the reality is, like, he's bringing that out to point out the fact that, yeah, he does have experience in this world. So again, yet another reason why I'm just frustrated with this, because it's like, clearly that's a continuity problem. I'm sure it's black, white, or whatever. Like, don't change the hair or too much of the character. So as we get to know the actor, we remember, oh yeah, that's the character. Just easy things that can throw off a viewer is totally a continuity thing that he may have been insistent on. But Nadria, who I've spoken to people behind the scenes, she was absolutely trying to make more of a thing out of this. They were very frustrated with her throughout the whole process. And now she is the one who's defending Ray Fisher. It just... These are the best two people we could get in all of Hollywood to stand up against Joss Whedon. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. So I'm curious. Seeing all this, what is the? I'm still confused. Why do you still stand with him when you see all this? Does none of this frustrate you?
I think the integral issue for me is like, it shows that it's a systemic problem in Hollywood, right? Of like, black characters aren't important enough. Like, we've got Django, we've got you don't get, like, you had a whole movie that was based on somebody, and then even like the angry black guy thing, or like the booyah thing, like, okay, yeah, he said booyah in the cartoon, that's awesome, like, that's great. This is a movie for adults, right? Like, we're all in agreement about that this is not a children's movie.
Correct.
We can agree on that. Correct? Yeah.
Correct. I mean, he said F the world instead of booyah. He said hell yeah instead of booyah.
Exactly, and that F the world line was dope. It was kind of hard. Like, it was hard. It was. I mean,
would you agree? He said hell yeah, and when he could have said booyah.
All right, sure, yeah. Fine,
I mean, come on, what's the difference?
But like, it's also like, I don't need him to say booyah. Like,
But he said hell yeah. They made a point to write in the script for Cyborg to go hell yeah, and they couldn't have said booyah. Like,
it's corny. It's corny, and it's a superhero movie. It's all corny when you think about it. But like, it's corny. It's too much. It's too much is what it comes down to. And if you tell somebody they don't have to do something, and then they come in a month later and they have to do that thing, like, come on, it's ridiculous. He made a point of this at the very beginning of, we're not doing the booyah thing.
But here I want to, because we haven't talked about this yet, and I'm going to get Don in too at some point. But he even says, who cares? It's not a big deal. He admits this in was upset about saying booyah. It wasn't about the line. He talks about the whole hold on, it's up here. Here, sorry, I'm looking for the exact where was it about dynamite he's talking about? He talks about the fact that it wasn't just about the line itself. Oh, here it is. That phrase, booyah, that phrase had become a character thanks to Teen Titans in the original script. Fisher says that John had approached him about including the line, but the director said didn't want any catchphrases. He managed the situation by putting the word in some versions, yada, yada. Fisher says he doesn't see the word in itself as an issue. Okay, so then why is it an issue? He's literally saying there it's not an issue. Yeah, I don't see the word as an issue. But then he goes into this weird... but he thought it played differently in a live-action film than the animated series. Okay, so he's in his head. And he thought of a black characters in pop culture. Gary Coleman, What You Talking About, Willis. Jimmy Walker's Dynamite. And no one else in the film had a catchphrase. He says it seemed weird to have the only black character say it. I mean, I'm sorry. sure, he's black. He's allowed to have his feelings. I understand. But this seems like a guy who's lost in his head. And dude, it's just about a stupid catchphrase. It's a catchphrase that everybody knows, how most people know Cyborg is that catchphrase. And it's like a stupid little Easter egg for the fans who wanted to hear him say booyah. I have footage of Ray Fisher at a Comic-Con screaming booyah. Like, so I don't understand what the deal. Why is this racist to you? What do you think?
Yeah. So I think what it came down to was like, I think that Joss being who he was and the clashes that they were having, and I do think that at least some of it, at the end of the day, there is a racial element there, 100%. But I think
why? What is the racial element?
I just, like I said before, like you have there's a constant trend of like these people of color, these characters of color being cast to the side, and you have this forefront my thing is like, why can't Cyborg be the main character in the Justice League movie? Or like what's the issue there? I don't understand. It's been, when did the New 52 start? In 2011. It's been 10 years.
Right.
It's been 10 years. Everybody knows who Cyborg is. I'm about to be 22. I grew up with the Teen Titans. You know, like why can't he be the main character? Why can't we have the angry black guy be the main character? Why can't we see the arc? You know? Why do we have to cut his mom out? Why does he only have to have one parent throughout the entirety of it?
Because they cut a movie from 4 hours to 2 hours. Is that not a fair reason?
I don't. Yeah, but like, why?
I mean, but let's be clear. Neither of us know the reason. And sure, I'm listening to you. Okay, that's one option. Could there also be an option that, yeah, he had to cut down a 4 hour movie to 2 hours? That's a really hard thing to do.
It is. It is 100% a hard thing to do. I agree with that 100%. But then, like, you also have, like, what did he have to add in the Flash running into Gal Gadot's tits?
If the notes from above were make it more lighthearted,
and even
it's a bad gag, but yeah, he's adding a gag of like, oh, that worked in the Avengers. Literally, he stole it from the Avengers, which is even more offensive to me. Of like, you did that joke already. But yeah, he's trying to make like a more lighthearted, like, whoops, and that. You know what? I'm glad you brought up that gag. How come that gag was bad? I mean, it was bad because Gail didn't want to do it apparently, and that should have been sign enough that, all right, let's not do the gag. That's bad. But then why were they talking about like, oh, you think I can get a date with her and she's 100 years old? There was a whole thing about doing Wonder Woman between Flash and Cyborg when they're digging up the grave. That felt just as sexist and unnecessary, if we're being honest. Why did she have to be like a sex symbol to both of them?
100%. No.
And that was written by Zach. So it's like, well, wait a second. We're gonna call it the stupid Zach, the stupid Joss moment, but not the stupid Zach moment. He could have cut that out easy.
I can agree with that too. I can agree with that 100%.
So we're agreeing more than disagreeing, but I'm still stuck on the racial part because, okay, I'll hear you. Fine. Maybe that's why they did it. I'm being very, I don't want to do that, but fine. But where I'm stuck is like, what's the proof of that?
I mean, I don't think you need. I think it just sheds a light on like a larger problem. Even if this specific circumstance wasn't as deep as Ray's making it out to be, as all these crazy people on Twitter are making it out to be, as deep as I thought it was until like I read this article and like, do I think that they were in the wrong? Warner Brothers handled it poorly. 100%, yes. After reading the article, like, do I realize that maybe he's taking this to the extreme? 100%. He's taking it to the extreme. It's gone too far. And now, like you said, I don't think that the Snyderverse is ever going to be restored now, because why would they want to touch anything that has to do with Zack or any of this after dealing with all this? At all. If I was them, I want it.
Yeah, I mean, I still think the restore the Snyderverse isn't happening because of all this drama. It's all stuff that I think didn't help. Look, final thoughts from you. And well, hey Jody, you're welcome in. You have the link. Jody's been watching these guests come in and out, get wrecked one by one for the last 45 minutes. I don't think getting wrecked is a harsh way to put it, but the problem is I feel like all of us are agreeing more than not. So I guess I didn't get as crazy a fans as I thought I was going to get. But look, at the end of the day, it seems like you and I, Jordan, are agreeing for some stuff. Like, do you still have a beef with me on my Ray Fisher coverage, or in talking it out with me? Do you think maybe there's some emotional stuff on Twitter that we all need to just work on instead and have more of these conversations?
I think it's a mixture of both. I can say that it's a mixture of both.
What is there another beef or issue you still have in my coverage that I can address to help you clarify?
I think you're looking at it from like a very like industry standpoint.
How so?
That works in the field. I think you're looking at it from the perspective of straight up just Warner Brothers, and you're not looking at it from the perspective of Ray at all.
Enlighten me. I say that seriously. What am I missing?
I think you're not taking like. I don't think you're taking like. Even if these comments were interpreted wrong, or like even like the girl from Krypton, I don't remember her name. I'm sorry, but
Nadria Tucker, I think.
Yes, even if these comments were perceived wrong, or that's not what they meant, or the angry black man comment wasn't really like we don't want a movie about some angry black dude comment. They didn't mean it that way. Whatever the case may be, like he took it that way. And there was nothing. It was just kind of like, all right, Ray, we don't know what to tell you. And I don't feel like.
So what is the proper response to that? If they're like, well, we don't know what to. But if they do an investigation that Ray Fisher has pushed for, and agrees to, and then does it, and then provides all his witnesses, and then that investigator says, yeah, we did it all. I don't see any racial. I don't see it. What are we supposed to do at that point? To me, when do you see? Okay, I'm supposed to listen to Ray Fisher's side of it. When will you notice that maybe Ray Fisher only wants his side to come forward? When will you be able to notice that maybe Ray's unaccepting of the fact that an investigation doesn't get to be judged by Ray Fisher? You know what I mean? Like that's not how those investigations work. Like he seems upset that the outcome he wanted isn't the outcome he got. But the reality is that happens a lot in investigations because, let's be honest, sometimes multiple people are telling the truth, right? Jeff Johns could be telling the truth. Ray Fisher could be telling the truth. And the reality is it's not always about Ray Fisher. That's my problem with him. It's all about Ray Fisher. Dude, there's more than you. Charisma Carpenter, bravo, brave. And I see him using her in a weird way that makes my skin crawl. Because
I don't like that either.
Their stories aren't connected. There's so many things against Ray that I'm like, dude, you're using her. You're using her struggle, her brave stand-up against Joss, which I applauded. Let's be clear, I applauded that. And I'm sorry, I have trouble standing for Ray because I feel like the dude's skeevy. He doesn't drop any evidence. He talks about the witnesses, but then he plays the victim. I'm hearing you. I'm trying to be fair here, but I don't know what I'm missing about Ray's side where, to me, yeah, I think he's playing an eternal victim, and I think he's not dropping facts. He's, in fact, dropped things he's brought up, like the skin color lightning. He dropped that. The barber, he dropped that. Like there's a bunch of stuff. He's changed his sights and his aim and who he's targeting constantly. And he only goes on channels that won't challenge him. Have you noticed that too? And then every time he does an article like this, then he starts calling out. And he gets a little frustrated. Well, why didn't you this and why did you that? The dude. When I was telling the truth, and I wanted to make sure that the truth was out there, I went everywhere. And in fact, I lost a lot of viewers because I ended up going on some conservative channels. And I'm not a conservative, but they were the ones who were willing to hear me out and like tell the truth and like get the truth out there. All the liberal outlets, all my liberal friends, they were terrified to talk about it and to admit that they were wrong. Many of them have done it privately. Some of them you'd be surprised. I don't reveal everything, but I've had a lot of people I've worked with, not necessarily the ScreenJunkies, main players, but I've had a lot of people who I've worked with who have reached out personally and told me, yo, dude, I'm sorry. It's a minefield. I got to be careful. And I'm like, hey, I don't like that, but whatever. I'll respect it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a different world we live in. So I don't know, man. I think I don't feel for him. I feel for Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder got really rubbed the wrong way, and I think they totally mistreated him. But I think Ray's standing up, and I think he's admitted he used the Black Lives Matter to his benefit. He got overly emotional about it, and for the past several months, he would not let it go. And I think the reality is there's a little bit of truth on both sides. Is Joss Whedon an asshole? Clearly. Is Ray Fisher a diva? Yes. Both things can be true, and the reality is that's what happened. But I stand with Ray Fisher, Borg Life. They refuse to accept any negative, outlook on Ray, and that's dangerous, my man. That's my problem with this whole movement.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my final thought. I'll give you the final word, though. Anything you want to sort of add to that?
No, I'm good. Good chat, man.
Look, I appreciate you hearing me, and I hope you felt heard here. I wasn't trying to steamroll you, but look, man, I think these conversations are important because look, we still might disagree, I agree to disagree, but if we can have these conversations, I think that's where we need to get. And so I applaud you for coming on here into my den. Thank you, my man. Good for you. I hope stay in touch. Let's keep the conversations going. And have a good one, man.
You too, man.
Well, good, cool. Another great conversation with Jordan there. I appreciate his takes. We got a Don there, and then I think Vito. I'll send you the link. Jody. Oh, we got one more here. Daniel. We'll do Daniel quick. But Jody, if you want to, you're welcome in. We can go through some of this article. Vito, I'm going to get you the link really quick. Let's get Daniel in the building. Don, any thoughts while we wait for Daniel to jump in quick? We'll do Daniel fast.
I will say, I was expecting more drama. Everybody's been very civil, which I am very happy to see.
Jody.
And I am so happy, and it's pleasant to watch. Disagreements, yes, but everybody's civil. I'm loving it.
Jody's. Shout out to Rick Fox for coming through. Susgang. He did look like Rick Fox. It's a compliment. I laughed just because he did. I thought that too. Vito, all right, link's coming. And then Jody, I just sent it to you as well. Daniel, though, is in the building. What's up, Daniel? Are you there?
Hey, how's it going, Andy?
Daniel, good to see you, my man. All right, so last, no one else has the guts to confront me on this, I guess. They're all afraid of me. But Daniel DM'd me as we were going, so go quickly as we wrap this topic up. What did you want to add here?
Well, it's just that I don't have a problem with you reporting the story and all that. It's because people should ask the right questions whenever accusations like this happen. And that's what you're doing. But we also got to be seeing Ray's side also, like whatever he went through and all that stuff. And to me, what's more that made me, believe him, because of the movie, all the basically everybody that wasn't white got cut out. Because remember the janitor that was kidnapped? That scene was stayed in. The Russian family was added with Joss Whedon's version. And I know it was to add the world's gonna end, but I don't think that giving them that family what was it the time on the Whedon cut 10 or 5 minutes out of a 2-hour movie that they had to restrain it. They couldn't be just a little part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I was letting you finish, but I can explain.
I'm sorry.
To me, no, I just want to make sure you were done. But you were asking me the question, so I wanted to interject. Yeah, look, the Russian family was stupid. Totally don't know. The reason why I justify why it's there was clearly a mandate to make it lighthearted and more fun and joyful. So he chose to have a family in the mix of that big town, that CGI nuclear fallout that's happening. He chose to just have a family there to sort of have a thread that I think was just a standard genre play for him to choose of all right, let's go save them. Because it's a superhero movie. Let's save people is really what I think the justification of that scene was. Did we need that scene? No. But what I did enjoy about that scene was there was some seeing Superman and the Flash team up to go save the people. I did enjoy that. I'll take you get the left, I get the right. And then he's got the whole building, and he's got the one people in the truck. I thought that was an amusing, fun scene. Did I need all those constant cutbacks to the Russian family to get that moment? No. But that was clearly added as sort of a note from above of add humor, make it light, joyous, heroic. That's why I think that family was added. Now, I'm not justifying that scene. I didn't love those scenes. I don't think they were necessary. But that's to me, everything when you watch those cuts side by side. It's not clearly there were some bad choices. I think at the end of the day, someone could have fought for a 2-hour, 15-minute cut that would have allowed for at least some of the cyborg stuff to go back in and some other stuff to extend it just enough to have it have a little bit more weight. And I think that's really my take on it. Is it's there was a middle ground there, but clearly someone up above, and it was Kevin Tusahara who made that call, who has said no, it needs to be 2 hours, and that was the mandate to Zach and everybody else. And all I know is, cutting down a 4-hour movie to a 2-hour movie is brutal, guys. Unless you've ever really tried to do it, you can't speak to me about it because it is hard. And you'll notice in the movie, Joss was making cuts, and I think sometimes he made some really good, or the editors made some really good cuts, and trying to fast forward a scene as quickly as possible, like the whole opening with Aquaman and Bruce Wayne. Just quick sort of transitions to get to the moments quicker and faster. He did that throughout the whole movie to try and, again, cut that movie in half, which is a task. So no, I have a problem when I think about the main people who were cut, which we already talked about. The Iris West scene, it was not necessary, especially since he changed the Flash. And then you had the I forget what's his name, the Asian lab scientist was the other big role.
Brian Cho,
Brian Cho, thank you, who got cut.
Yeah.
Look, I had trouble understanding him. I know that's like an Adam reference. I think that was probably just one of those things of like, look, we don't need all this stuff with Cyborg in the lab. We're cutting all that plot anyway. So the more they cut down that lab stuff as sort of casualty to the cut, then they realize, well, we don't have a lot of the Cyborg stuff. I think that's when Cyborg's plot got cut down even further, because he had to cut some of that of Joe Morton in the lab and everything, and that scene where they bring the body. There's a lot of stuff that he had to cut that gave Silas and Victor more backstory, that I think ultimately he just chose to cut a lot of it and sort of have him be the outsider, deal with a couple scenes with his dad, saved the dad, kept him in the film, and not only that, but didn't kill him so he could come back for more. Maybe we learn more about the mother in a later film. Who knows? I don't see those cuts as examples of racism by any stretch of the imagination. Now, could they have been? I guess. But, there's a lot of could-bes if we're going to go to could-bes. Vito, you're in the building. What's up, Vito? Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You just made a whole video about DC is now racist. Or did you? Right? Did you chime in on this too?
Well, he's calling out DC Comics. That's what he's saying, or at least Jeff Johns.
Did you get a vibe? We're talking here to Snyder, a Ray Fisher fan who's defending the fact that
you're a fan too, man.
that it's a Snyder and Fisher, but that those choices were racist. I'm curious, since you're in here, do you think Daniel's right? Do you think that Ray's right? That clearly by cutting all the minority characters, including Ray's mom, what's the scientist's name? Ryan Cho, and the other one, Iris West. By cutting those characters, does that prove DC and Jeff Johns and Joss Whedon were racist?
No, you can't. You have a 4-hour movie. The first people to go. First of all, the random scientist whose name I didn't even know by the end of the movie. Okay, he's Gonskis. Cyborg's dad, Cyborg's mom. Are those crucial characters? Like, who else's mom and dad did we meet in the movie? I guess we meet the Flash's dad, but and we also kept Cyborg's dad. So, I mean, I read this article, and my perspective on it is anyone in Hollywood who reads this is going to think that Ray Fisher's nuts, because the stuff he's bringing up, you made his character a little less prominent, but let's be clear, people are not going to the Justice League to see the Cyborg movie. First and foremost, they want to see Batman, they want to see Wonder Woman, they want to see Superman. So, the first guy on the cutting room floor is probably going to be Cyborg.
Facts.
It's just giving the audience what they want to see.
I want to echo that, because, you're right, because we see a Justice League movie, great that Cyborg's in it, wonderful, he's part of the team, but dude is the 5th priority of the heroes I want to see in that movie. It's just facts.
I mean, there's the
Superman. I want to see Batman.
Superman,
I want to see Wonder Woman.
And
then we got Flash and Aquaman.
Cyborg.
They are more important to me personally. I love the Flash show. I like Jason Momoa. Yeah, and then it's Cyborg. And I'll agree, all three of them are little, but I know Flash is higher for me. But
I would put Cyborg and Aquaman on equal footing.
Fair.
Though. I don't think Aquaman is beloved.
I still lose. I like Aquaman. I like Jason Momoa's character better than I did Ray's in both versions. But you make a point. Daniel, back to you. Can you see that being just a choice that was made that wasn't racist? He can't. Look at that. He's like,
no. Which is fine.
I mean, you're allowed, but that was a big
the
sigh.
Reason I bring that up is because remember Jeff Johns or somebody from the article, they said, we can't make Joss Whedon mad. So he has some kind of power over the movie. He could have said, hey guys, I need to make this movie longer because 2-hour movie for the Justice League movie. I got 2 hours and 30 minutes in Avengers, the first movie. There's no way I can do a team-up movie like that with all those characters in a 2-hour gap. He could have fought for that.
I think if he said that, they would have said, then you're not the right man for the job.
Correct.
Get out of the building.
Correct.
I think they only gave him the job because he agreed, I can get your movie down to 2 hours.
And let's not forget, the article admits Zack Snyder agreed to those terms before he left.
That Zack was willing to get the movie down to 2 hours?
That's in the article. Yeah. I'll find it for you while you're talking. But Daniel, thoughts?
Yeah, and also sorry, I'm not prepared for this at all.
No, I'm not trying to catch you. I'm just
but what was the other thing? I was gonna bring this up. Can't remember right now.
I'm trying to find it, but there was I can't.
Yeah,
find
there
it.
was.
There was a moment in the article where they do acknowledge that Snyder made it to a 2 hour the 2 hour cut before he left. I can't find.
Yeah, so no matter what, they were going to do a 2 hour. Like Joss Whedon was in no position to go, what we really need to do. No, they only brought him on specifically because he said, I'm going to work some sort of wizard magic, make your movie 2 hours, and everyone's going to, love it the way they love the Avengers.
Here it is.
Now, he did not deliver.
Yeah, so the studio was unhappy with the reception and box office performance of the previous film, the bleak Batman v Superman, facts, and with Justice League footage already shot, now insisted on a lighter touch. Warner's also asked Snyder to produce a 2 hour cut that he had a wrenching time delivering, though eventually did. So he agreed to the terms even himself. Now, should he have and could he have fought back? But even you're talking Zack Snyder, the guy who's in charge of it, Daniel, he's doing it. So you got a cut that already exists and that they give to Joss Whedon. They're like, hey, we're hiring you. Here's $20 million. Make it funnier. Cut it down. Explain these goddamn mother boxes quicker. Get it to us quick. and that's your job. And look, like him or not, it sounds like he was a bit of an asshole. I'm not going to deny it. Joss came in and did the job. Now, did he have an ego doing the job? Absolutely. Could he have been a better person while he did the job? Absolutely. But that's the reality. He just came in to do a friggin' job. And I do think it's really unfair just how much crap they're just dumping on this guy. Now, if what he did to Gal and all this stuff is accurate, then sure, okay, fine. Let's call him out because some of the stuff that sounds like he apparently was doing was too much. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not here to defend Joss. But at the same time, I haven't heard from Joss. It'd be nice to hear from Joss. Gal has not confirmed that that thing about he would wreck her has been there. Gal's very pro. Gal is working this town and will be working this town forever because she handled it like a pro. She went to the studio and sort of said it. She did it with, and then when she was having trouble, she got support and went there, and she was able to do that sadly because she had Wonder Woman under her belt. Like she was now the Wonder Woman and the future of that character, which is a very powerful and important character. And so she did it in a way that clearly worked. And all that means to me is Ray needed a better agents or whatever, or more sway before he could sort of throw around his muscle like she did. And Gal was a pro because she did it. And she's made it clear like, yep, I wasn't a fan of Joss Whedon, but I went to the studio. They took care of it. And we moved on. And she doesn't keep talking about it every month or every week on Twitter. You notice? So that's my problem with all this. Ray has to just shut up at a certain point. You got
and he's enlisting other people to his cause to complain about the hairstyles on Krypton.
Using Charisma Carpenter, who has her own victim story, which I think is awful that he connected himself. What do they have to do with each other? It's just enough already, in my opinion. So, Daniel, not to keep piling on, but I'm just final words from you. Like, what's the problem? Why am I not allowed to have this take on Ray Fisher?
No, you completely are. I'm not saying you can't. But the thing is, you gotta see it from both sides. You know what I mean? Like I see your side and I see his side. And also, when a big company like them do an investigation and all that, normally they fix it like under the rug, like with Gal Gadot, right? They didn't mention it until Ray Fisher brought this whole thing up. They would have never mentioned it either. But like big companies, whenever something racial or anything like that happens like that, they normally try to fix it under the rug. Like they offered Ray probably the Flash movie, and then later on we'll get you another movie for you, and all that stuff. Kind of like almost like what happened to you. I'm sorry to bring this up, but remember the company they told you can't talk about your situation. You got to keep it under wraps, and you couldn't defend yourself, which is a dick
but the
move on
difference
them,
is Andy seeing that an organization will fire people if they think they're out of line. So if Joss went out of line, I think there's a very good chance, or, if Walter Hamada was doing creepy stuff behind the scenes or being racist, I think an organization would care more about their reputation than keeping those guys on. I think ultimately here, they're like, look, there's no proof anybody did anything wrong. If you had proof, sure, we can't keep the guy around. It looks bad for our organization. But here it's just, it's Ray Fisher's word, and his word's not even that convincing.
To echo
that's
that,
the thing, who has more power there, Joss Whedon or Ray Fisher, who that's probably his first movie role? So who are they going to believe? The guy who's a director?
Yeah, but who has more power than Joss Whedon? Probably the Warner Brothers executives. Who, if Joss Whedon's being a racist, they don't want him in their organization.
And they got to finish a movie right away, and they got to get this done. So they're not gonna. Okay, dude, you're being a diva. Go away. And then okay, Josh, finish the movie because we need this done because we're on a time thing.
But you just said it, Daniel. If Ray Fisher's being a diva, he shouldn't be there either. Let's be real. That's why
Ray
Fisher was being a diva.
Parts.
This article only
He's taking it
applies.
pretty far now.
Yeah, it's like he's not only that, but I'm just talking about the examples he's sharing are ridiculous. Like his examples are abuse, are the fact that Jeff Johns requested maybe trying it as Quasimodo instead of Frankenstein. How dare he? Like, this is petty.
Which is actually a good note, because in Whedon's cut, I always bring up, there's the part where they're digging up the grave and it's an alternate cut, and Cyborg actually like smiles and cracks a joke. And like, isn't that the theme? Is like, it's a guy rediscovering his humanity after becoming like a horrible robot
who's been like sheltered and hidden from the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that scene worked so much better in Whedon's cut of being like, all right, Flash, come on, let's get back to digging up this corpse. Like, I actually like Cyborg much more than I'm kind of like Batman and I'm mad all the time. And I'm like, shouldn't he slowly, again, rediscover his humanity and be the fun kid that he was at the beginning of the movie or whatever else? I think that would have worked much better. And I actually agree with Jeff Johns' note there.
Right. And so come on, Kurt, call in. I see you hating on me in the chat. Come say it to my face and come call in. Clearly, everyone here is the hot seats. Has no one's been able to stick out of it. But come on, Kurt, show your guts and get that. Let's
go, Kurt.
Get on in here,
Let's
Kurt.
go,
Let's go,
these
Kurt.
guys.
You got this. You got this attitude towards me. Shut up, Andy. You're not over Ray Fisher. It's news today, brah. I mean, we're supposed to talk about the news today. This isn't me bringing up the story.
For him to drop these allegations. Finally, he gives us something.
What are we supposed to talk about today? What story is bigger than this one, Kurt? Let it go, brah. Yeah, brah, let it go. No, I'm not going to let it go. And he finally drops the evidence. Yeah, we're going to do a big stream about it, Kurt. So please,
and the evidence sucks.
Call in.
We got to talk about that.
Call in and you say it to my face, Kurt.
All those little stuff. I don't know what he's doing, man. But
even Daniel, who's supporting him, is calling out this man, Kurt. I hate him.
Something there because of because how they edited the movie. Because it's very sus how they edited it. I'm not gonna deny that. That's the thing that it's not raised. Well, it is kind of raised because he brought it up, but this whole thing is going overboard with all the little straws he's trying to grasp at. It's like the lighter skin tone and all that. It's like, come on, dude. Like, just stick to one thing and stick to that, so that we don't have to keep up with you. You know what I mean?
Facts.
But
that's
what
the
drives me
problem.
nuts is the idea that it's racist for your character to have a consistent hairstyle. I'm like, look, man, audiences are dumb. All right? If you show the audience that Superman's grandpa is black, they're going to go, wait, is Superman black? Is that a different Superman? Are we going to meet black Superman? Like, it's just... People are dumb. You can't do stuff like that.
People are super dumb, and the honest is they're going to see some white people look the same black. When you're learning a character, sometimes you're like, wait, who is that again? It doesn't. Yeah, and when you change the hair,
why does
up and everything
Archie wear the same costume?
You got. There's just a stupid audience. Sometimes you got to just this. It's very clear which character is which character. And I'm so infuriated that I've seen it all over the place. How dare Jeff Johns say that he has a black wife to try and get out of this? He's pointing out the point that, he has seen African-American women in their hairstyle, what they have to do day to day, because he was married to one. So, I mean, of course that's connected. This idea that you wouldn't know, Jeff, he does. He was married to someone who had to deal with it every day. It's insane. Of course, Vito, he just brought out he has a black friend card. He has a black wife card. He can still be racist, Vito.
Let's put it this way. I don't have a black wife. If I did, I'd tell everybody about it. That would be I'd play that card every day. Oh, you think I'm racist?
Yeah.
Look at this one.
No, someone.
All right.
People.
No racism here.
I already had one that's, of course, someone was all outraged on Twitter. What was this? I want to read it because it's crazy how people are claiming that because you have a black wife, you cannot be racist when Masters had black mistresses, and on top of that, to be silenced by Andy Signore's live stream. Come on. This is ridiculous. Back in the day, I bet you, I don't want to get in trouble saying that, but yeah, I bet you
in the day.
I bet you in that time period.
Anytime a white guy starts saying that,
in that time period, in that time period when it was awful, I do believe, some of those people were probably with black mistresses because they didn't want to be racist, but that was sort of the culture everyone was in.
I mean, fun fact, there were even black slave owners. So
yeah, it goes all the way. So there were probably people like, I'm actually into these black people. Why are they slaves? But I can't be the one guy's like, I don't want the slaves, and they should have. But that's the reality of back in the time of slavery, which was an awful time. A lot of good people let it happen. So should they all be canceled forever because they just did what was sort of regular at the time? It's right. That's the debate that we're sort of currently in. So of course, someone who has a black wife could be, I suppose. But I think in today's day and age, it's a lot more different. The term of racist is you dislike black people. So why would you marry one? Doesn't make it's such a stupid argument.
Andy,
to me.
been slaying all night, but I'm just here for more greatest movie ever / veto support. Put this toward the next episode. I also rejoined membership, but you were too busy spitting facts, so I understand. Much love from Canada.
You missed a membership.
It's not here, but thank you, man. I saw Brian M became a member. Let me take a second to go through. Brian M became a member. I didn't see you becoming a member, Avatar Guru. So thank you, Avatar Guru. And yes, thank you. Best movie ever is coming back. We just shot episode 2. Vito, should we tell them? For people who didn't see here, I have it right here. Before you tell them, before we reveal, because we got a lot of people watching. Before I say it, hold on. I have the thumbnail here. I'll display it.
Proudly. Oh, you made the thumbnail already.
Yeah, here it is. It's of course. Come on, I don't F around.
You don't mess around. Yeah, you're not like me. Just
we already taped this episode, but Vito, here we go. Ready for the drum roll? Battlefield Earth.
Oh no,
man, Vito. This
best
one's
movie
tough.
ever.
This we have to defend and call Battlefield Earth one of the best movies ever. Stay tuned for that episode dropping next week. We're going to be doing the show about every other week, but then we have a schedule now, actually. We have the next 3 episodes.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff coming up we want to do because it ties into movies coming out.
Stay tuned because, man, Battlefield Earth, best movie ever. It was a tough one. I'll say that. I'll tease it that way.
It was.
This was a tougher one.
I had one that you really did not agree with. You were like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, you don't understand.
I feel good about mine. I think I might have won that one. I think I might get 2 for 2 on that one.
We'll see, man. I think I got this one.
We'll see. But you guys will be able to vote on that one. Stay tuned. Probably next Tuesdays when I think I'll just try and drop that. I think Tuesdays. Next Tuesday. And then Mortal Kombat will be after that, the week that Mortal Kombat comes out. And then we're off for a week.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
And then Star Wars Days coming up. You bet your butt we're going to try and do a Star Wars. So stay tuned for more updates on Best Movie Ever. If you're not following us over on Movie World, here, I'll put the link out. Go support over there. But yeah, Vito, that was fun. Anything else you want to tease for that upcoming episode?
It was great. It was a good debate. I think we're getting a hang of the format. We really committed to loving this movie, and just Travolta, man, Travolta, giant alien Travolta. You need a Travolta drop now. You gotta add a Travolta drop to the show.
You man animal.
I was made to conquer. I was born to conquer planets.
This is crowning achievement.
All right, Man Animals.
Best
there, I gave you the link.
ever.
Go watch last week's episode and go support Movie World if you haven't already. Man Animals. You man animals.
Man Animals is a good drop.
Kurt. Look, Kurt wussed out. He deleted his comments and then he didn't call in. Come on, Kurt.
Oh, Kurt.
But Kurt did send a super chat
give you
earlier.
A fair shake.
Kurt, thank you for the super chat. Even though you were hating on me, I saw you. It's obvious that cutting out black people already there and adding white people that were not is racism. Anyone challenging that is in denial. Well, Kurt, call on in. Let's have the conversation.
So if the Russian family was black, would we say the movie's not racist?
Apparently not.
So I'm going to say this before I dip out.
Go ahead, Adon.
I am going to say it's not racist to cut out like...
How dare you, Adon?
I will be that guy.
Shut him down. Shut him down.
I'm just going to say it this way. Like you have a 1, or 2 scenes with a Russian family that is literally in the site of where they're hosting it in that area versus cutting out a lot of other stuff that needs to be condensed down. So there are scenes like the 2-second scene with the cop, the scene with Iris West, the scene with the mom, the father, they kept, that's fine. That, that's there. But the scene with the mom, the scene with the mother boxes, those are all stuff that you can easily cut out. And watching it, if no one said this is about racism, I would have just thought they just cut this out to shorten it up. All honesty, I would think that just needed to go. They just trim it down, condensed it out. There are things that are better in the focus, I will say that, but I don't think this is more about racism. I think this is more about there was complications. There was, yes, drama on the sets. Josh Whedon probably was a-hole. And yeah, but the approach of going at it as a racist thing, that's taking it too far in my opinion, because there's nothing that he's bringing to the table of his experiences other than the hearsay. And I've lived a life where I'm a person of color, and I've been called racial statements. I've lived a better life than a lot of people I've known that have dealt with racism, but I've still dealt with it. And the fact is, there's still people of color in the movie that people ignore. Hell, the main cast. You count Jason Momoa, you count Gal Gadot. Just because they're not as dark as Ray Fisher doesn't mean they're not of the color. And that's the thing. We have to take into consideration that there are people of different nationalities in that film. It's just that people are focusing on they're not as dark as, and that's a controversial thing just to say it like that. I would say the fact of the matter is Ray Fisher stepped too far. If he wanted to focus on just how he had troubles, how things were changed, how Snyder was done dirty by the company, I will agree with everything that was being done there. But because he's going down this path and he's going after my friends and his comments, and people say you're taking it personal. No, if you go after people personally, you're making it personal. And those are all things that sit with me when I read this article, when I look up at the past and see the previous things. And this is where I stand on it. After saying all that, thank you, Daniel, for joining us.
No problem.
And
thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, everybody else who's come in, talking to Andy. You guys have been great.
Before you say anything about that, I want to hype up
ahead.
Adon because, guys, it's his birthday this weekend, and we're celebrating. And I want to give him birthday presents. In that, go subscribe to Nerd Tots because Adon's the best. Hopefully, are you around? Will you be here Thursday, Adon, or what?
Yeah, I can be here Thursday.
Right, so we'll celebrate.
My birthday isn't until Friday, so
we'll celebrate
I'm definitely
his birthday on Thursday officially. But go do a favor and go subscribe to Don's channel, Nerd Tots, over there. We should do a birthday stream at some point on your channel too. That'd be fun. But yeah, go support my man Don. He's a smart, good guy, and I appreciate him. And I want you guys to go give some love to his channel, Nerd Tots. Show him the love.
Thank you.
Thank you, my man. Anything else you want to add or say?
I did notice there were some people that did subscribe while you guys were chatting earlier. So thank you, everybody who did subscribe earlier and in advance. If anybody does subscribe now, yes, thank you very much for that too.
Bunda just sent a troll comment. Do you want me to read it to you before you or after you leave?
By all means, go ahead. I always listen to you, Bunda.
Bunda, I hear Adon has a curfew for internet time. That's why he's leaving. He just doesn't want to get spanked again. Stay tuned for more. Ooh, he's getting spanked.
I heard that as well, yeah.
No one likes to be spanked with a chancla. And it's a horrible thing. The power bill goes up. You want to keep that down. I understand.
Your bed's nice tonight, though. It looks like you had some cereal earlier. See, and he's got a laptop up. Good job. Anyway, I love Adon. Good to see you, my man. I'll see you Thursday then, and we'll hang party this weekend officially. But thank you, my man. Go do what you got to do. Go get spanked.
Thank you. Later.
All right, see you soon. All right, and awesome, Adon. Go support. Subscribe to Nerd Tots. He's a good dude and does fun nerd videos, just hangouts and stuff. And we're gonna do more stuff over there too. So you'll see me from time to time. Unless you don't like me, then oh well, then you're stuck. All right, but Daniel, since you're still there, final thoughts. I was just trying to bring in the other panelists here. Final thoughts from you, Daniel. It sounds like we agree more than we disagree on a lot of this. Yeah. But any final thing you want to sort of add in favor of Ray Fisher?
Nah, it's more in favor of you. I want to talk to the I Stand with Fisher and Zack Snyder fans. Guys, only because Andy brings up questions and disagrees doesn't mean like he doesn't believe them, or well, maybe he doesn't, but it doesn't mean he's an asshole or he's just a racist. It doesn't. He's bringing up good questions. You need to ask those questions when accusations come up. So you need to see everybody's opinion before you defend someone die hard, because everybody dies, everybody tells the truth, and it's everybody's opinion of what happened that day. So we don't know, you don't know, Andy doesn't know, nobody knows what happened. So, and Andy's entertainment, man. Enjoy his content. If you don't enjoy it, leave. Like, I like to see his opinion because he has interesting opinions. So
I appreciate that, man. Well, thank you, dude.
Man.
See, look, tonight we were supposed to be like all toxic fights, and no,
nah.
we had 4 wonderful, good conversations. I think with all the crew. In fact, I'll bring them back in for a big bow. We've got Jordan still in the wings, and we got William still in the rings. wings. But I thought today was a good. Good. Jody says I slayed all of you, but no, I think we came to a nice realization that everyone can agree to disagree. But I still love Jody. I love you, Jody, for Jody's bend the knee. No, look, that's what I want to do. Jody, Jody, come on, we'll do it. I'll do it with you anytime. We'll confront the commoners. But that's always fun. But you choose to ignore them. But sometimes I like to try to confront them because the reality is, let me say this full screen. There were a lot of cowards today on the internet, some of them probably ghost watching from afar, who did not want to come and face my face and say it to my face. And that just tells you who's really actually a supporter and who actually is telling the truth and who's actually, worth your time and who's just an anonymous troll or likely a young kid behind the scenes who's not worth getting in fights over. So thanks to all of you who did step up and have some good conversations. Vito, anything you want to add to this? I saw you did a video. I didn't get to watch it yet, but I assume you read the article and had thoughts.
Get my take. I just think Ray Fisher. I mean, I look at this at the perspective as somebody in Hollywood. If I read this and being someone who's aware of how hard it is to be a director and how many creative conflicts there are, seeing a guy, come out and try to spin it as a racist thing, I would go, I don't want to work with this guy. I mean, I hate to say it, but is this guy aware of how hard it is to be a director and the kind of drama on the set? The idea that Joss Whedon, a guy who's made $1.5 billion at the box office, tells you, I don't want your notes. Yeah, he doesn't need your notes, and he's earned the right to not listen to them. And you could say that he's, foolish for not listening to him, but ultimately, this guy has earned the right to say, I want to make the movie the way I want to make it. They brought me in to do a very real job, and I'm going to do it the best way I think it should be done. So everything I read in that article, I think Ray came away sounding worse, not better. Everything he brought up, I just fundamentally disagreed with. The idea that it's racist to have consistency in a character's hairstyle so the dum-dums in the audience don't pee their pants. I mean, again, these audiences are stupid. You gotta pay some concessions. If Superman's grandpa is black, a lot of guys are gonna go, I don't know what's going on. So I don't know. I think Ray did not convince me of anything today. And I don't know who he convinced. I don't. Well, he did. He was trending today with a lot of his fans. But all right, so I promised to go through this. I know we've talked about it. Unless somebody tips something else, we can pivot over there. But I did want to go through. And Vito, you're welcome to stay as long as you want. And Daniel and William, since you're still there, you can chime in as well. Before I do that, though, Officer Winslow sent a super chat. Someone named Kevin Smith really wants to call in. Apparently, he has all the answers. Okay. Wow, and good for you to pay for that person. DM me on Twitter at Andy Signore. It's right down there. Message me if it might be set in my spam filter, but Kevin Smith, if you want to call into the show, please. I haven't seen you in a while. We haven't talked since my cancellation. I'd love to talk to you, Kevin. But no, if you got something you want to try and add, and you think you can fight me on this, by all means, take a stab. Bunda, thank you again. Collaborative Kiwi Studios. He wants us to do the Star Wars holiday special watch party. That would be pretty brutal. See, but I would enjoy that, which is probably good though. Yeah, we could. No, we got a tougher one. Though. We got a tougher one. We'd have to call it best TV special ever. Best special ever. I like that best Disney Plus though. Disney Plus is doing Star Wars vintage now. Like they have the old Ewoks cartoon. Apparently, Droids is coming back. They have Battle for Endor. It's all under the vintage category, so good for them. I imagine. Is anyone watching the Ewoks cartoon? No, I don't think so. But still, they're desperate, and I imagine the holiday special will eventually get up there. Collaborative Kiwi Studios. Did you get my super chat? I did, didn't we? Oh, here we go. Thank you. Yes. Cutting down a film is hard. I had to cut down 8 hours of usable footage from a 4-day wedding video into a 5-minute video, and it kills you inside. Oh, my God. I feel your pain. I've been there. When you have that much footage and you have to whittle it down, I fucking hate it. But when you get it done, it's just like, oh, we did it. Wow, look at this. But yeah, I had to do camp videos back in the day. We'd have hours of camp footage that I would do like a best of camp video over the summer I would do as a job. And I've done some weddings and I've done like photo galleries and things. It is a chore. Editing is a chore. So to take even trying to cut down a stupid YouTube video is like impossible when you got a bunch of convention footage or whatever else. Oh my God, Honest Trailers was always a pain in the ass to edit. Yeah, it's not as easy as it says. And Kurt, we already read. Thank you, Kurt, again for your
But you didn't call in, Kurt. You lost your guts.
You didn't call in.
Guts then. Brian M. became a member. Thank you, Curtis. Curtis, thank you. Zack Snyder jerked off for 4 hours and the fans ate it up. That sounds disgusting. Oh, well. Jesus, Curtis. Well,
Nice.
there you go.
It was awesome.
Yeah, these guys here loved it. They're like, more, sir. Thank you, sir. May I have some more? Son of Cole, thank you, Andy. People are saying you were wrong about X-Men and Quicksilver and MCU because of Ralph Bohner. What are your thoughts, and does it mean this reports about Clark Gregg and Chloe Bennett are returning are wrong? No, it wasn't wrong. He was Quicksilver. He was Quicksilver in the movie. He just wasn't the X-Men Quicksilver. If you watched my report, I made it clear we don't know how or what kind of version he's playing, but he will be back as Quicksilver. So my report was accurate. So I stand by my phone. Now,
in the MCU, will he be back as Quicksilver? Are they going to cross that over?
I don't know. That I haven't heard. I doubt it. But the Ralph Bohner thing was one of the...
don't do it.
Vito loved it, but to me, it's one of the dumbest things the MCU's ever done. And no, my reports about Clark Gregg, Chloe Bennett, no. Not only that, Spider-Man, it's happening, guys. Another person who's been on the fence DM'd me. I can't tell you who, but it was like, yeah, you were right. It's definitely happening, 1,000%. I was like, I know. I've been telling you guys since all this time. It's happening. They're going to fight on the Statue of Liberty.
Oh.
It's going to be so good, guys. I told you.
I'm excited.
I told you guys. So
You'll
yeah,
get in trouble for saying that?
is my stuff right? Well, I said it. I whispered it to all of you. But yeah, guys, it's happening. Look, it's one of those things. I hate that it's spoiled, but at the same time, I don't care until I see it. I don't believe it, and I know it's happening. But I still until I see them. Oh my God, it's gonna be so cool. I'm gonna be fan out. I'm gonna be like a little kid watch oh shit, they did it. It's going to be, I really think they're going to blow that out of the water and people are going to be like, holy shit. Now, the movie could still have a lot of problems, but that finale is going to be hard to beat. So good on them. So yeah, it's happened. So no, I don't think I'm wrong, Son of Cole. Sorry. And Light SM, thank you for your $5 super chat. And Nerd Report for Life. We got that. And then I think I had one more come in. Oh, Kurt. There we go. Kurt sent some more money. Keep sending the money, Kurt, and I'll forgive you. Andy, you have made my life fulfilled with movie fights. Sorry for challenging you earlier. I just look up to you and question things. Thanks, Kurt. All right. Thanks, Kurt. But yeah, but you got to be careful, Kurt. See, I'd love to talk to you because I think we'd come to a realization. We get so emotional on this platform. And it's nice when we can talk to each other because you got to do it to someone's face. Twitter is destroying us as people, guys. Can we all agree, everyone who's here, Twitter is a cesspool of toxicity, and it's so easy to go to the dark side on that platform, and we get emotional, and we overreact, and we become monsters on that platform. And it takes us down a peg. And even when 12-year-old kids are just toxically hating on me and calling me rapist, yeah, of course it sucks. It's never fun to get a bunch of tweets that are just bullshit lying about you. It never makes you feel good. But you got to it builds you build a tolerance to it at a certain point, and it does really become less and less effective. And that block and mute buttons, they are God's gift. Use them. If you're going to stay on Twitter, use them a lot. Don't be afraid to use them. F it. If people are going to come into your space and just start shitting on you, would you kick them out of your house, or would you be like, oh, please leave? No, if some dude's shitting in my house, I'm going to lock the door and push him out of my house. That's how it works. Now, if you're
right, if never asks to use the toilet, and just ignore
come
your
on.
household.
So don't be afraid of that, dude. It's Andrea, you're right. It's destroying people's minds. It totally is. I got to get off it more. It's so ridiculous, but it's a necessary evil. It's so frustrating. But anyway, yeah. Thank you, Kurt. I hear you out. You're welcome to call in. We can hatch it out. But yeah, just don't be so quick to judge like everyone else online. I appreciate all these guys who called in because, look, we can agree to disagree on some of these things, but I'm not trying to be malicious. I think Ray is, personally. That's my take. They disagree. That's where we are. Mad Max 408, thank you for becoming a Popcorn Planeteer. Members of this channel help fuel this channel and keep these streams going. I can't keep doing this stuff if you guys don't watch and support it. So those of you who can afford to support it, it means the world to me. So thank you guys. Again, I always call it, Vito, it's like a 2-drink minimum. When you go to a comedy show, you buy a drink, right? Treat your YouTube streams.
Yes.
When you're hanging out all night long on these streams, don't be a freeloader. I understand you all can't do it, but when you're on Vito's stream or you're on Daniel's stream or you're William, whatever stream it is, don't be afraid to tip your waiters, your servers, your hosts. It's what we're doing here is why we're doing this. So thank you guys.
Yeah, especially for those of us who are close to homelessness. It's like putting $1 in our fun bucket.
Exactly.
As you pass us on the subway.
Exactly. Before we...
And you go, at least I'm not that guy. That's what we bring you, is that at least you're not us. That's what I think of my viewers.
Exactly.
Thank
you, Andrea. That's good. And what we had was Collaborative Kiwi Studios. Man, always dropping all this coin. Don't run out of money, Tyler. I hope you're okay, but yeah, I'll take it. Dude dropped like $900 over on Nerd Report the other night. It was amazing. Jody, did you know that collaborative Kiwi Tyler here dropped like 900 bones on Nerd Report last Thursday? It was unreal. It was a magical night. Lewis got teary-eyed. It was a beautiful stream, and it was so awesome that Lewis got to have that moment. A fan Tyler found him first through his watch parties, and now he's here and supporting other channels. So amazing when you support somebody and then you see him get a huge amount of money some night from a fan like Tyler. You're the best, man. So thank you for your support here as well. Thoughts on Powerpuff, like the Powerpuff show? Yeah, I'm not on board. I don't care.
Did we talk about this already? Why are they doing that? Yeah, we did talk about this. Hi, Kat. What a nightmare society we live in where anything fun has to become edgy now.
Yep.
Cyborg can't say booyah because he's got to be depressing and weird.
Booyah.
No fun. Booyah.
I'm looking up. They don't have any. Yeah, but I can't find it. But yeah, it's a grown-up power. The cat butt is really in there.
He's climbing on my keyboard, buddy. What are you doing? Bad cat.
Nerd report. Yeah, Jody, you said what? Yeah, Tyler's threw down. It was an insane, amazing stream. He got paid that night and just decided, boom. So it was awesome. It was really fun to watch Lewis keep getting hundos from Tyler. So bravo, Tyler. Yeah, I'm not excited for Powerpuff Girls. I have started watching Lois and Clark, or I guess it's Superman and Lois. I'm enjoying that show. I think it's
good.
It's actually really fun.
It's something to watch.
It's the first CW show since the original Flash that I've been on board for, and I watched all. I'm all caught up. It's like half a season, and they're going to bring it back in May or something. I enjoy it so far. Yeah, there's some high school drama with the kids, and there's some silliness, but overall, I've come to really like that Superman and Lois. I didn't think I would. Does anyone else?
You know what I learned today?
God, what video?
I learned there's a television show called Krypton.
Yes. I didn't know about it. It was on the Sci-Fi.
What is this?
It was on the Sci-Fi channel. That's why I think none of us knew.
Yeah.
I haven't watched cable channels. I can't even tell you when. It's like
I've never heard anyone talk about Krypton.
The last thing I watched on Sci-Fi was Face Off. Do you guys remember that? Not the movie, but there was like a makeup show.
What?
It was
I
a
actually know one of the guys who.
It was a really good show.
Who participated in that.
Because I used to watch like Project One Ray and Top Chef. I enjoyed some of those competition shows. And Face Off was a really cool version where they had these like prosthetic makeup people come in and like had to create an alien each week. And it was kind of fun.
Make crazy monster masks out of latex.
That was the
or
last
whatever.
thing I remember watching on Sci-Fi before everything sort of became streaming and stopped watching.
The last time I remember Sci-Fi being an event was when they had the world premiere of Cube 2 Hypercube, which I was so excited for and then gravely disappointed.
Wow.
Have you ever seen the Cube horror movie, Andy?
No. Well, yeah.
What? You've never seen Cube? Where they're trapped in a cube?
With what's his name? Christopher Lambert, right? Yeah, I've seen that.
Wait, is Christopher Lambert in Cube?
Right?
No.
I've never seen that movie.
Is that
Cube is the one where they wake up in like a giant alien Rubik's Cube, and if you go into the wrong room,
what's the one with Christopher Lambert? What's the one Christopher Lambert? Fortress. That's what I'm thinking of. Sorry,
I have not seen Fortress.
That one's fun.
Dude, you got to see Cube.
I never actually saw
Cube.
Cube. Yeah, it should. It's on my list.
Man, it's all about like, what trap's going to be in that room,
Fortress.
and then like an acid thing comes out and sprays a guy.
Why did I mix it up with Fortress? Because he's in like a box in Fortress, isn't he?
Is he in a box? I don't know.
They made like a whole franchise of Fortress. It became most because it was popular.
I've never heard of Fortress. Fortress from 2012.
It's good. No, 1992.
Oh no, 1992. Okay.
Here it is. In the future, private underground prison Fortress. The inmates are computer controlled with CCTV, dream readers, and devices that can cause pain or death. John and his illegally pregnant wife are inside, but want to escape before birth. Yeah, right? Doesn't that sound good?
I'd watch that.
I'd watch. In the year 2017, one corporation is building a fortress.
Far-flung future
for the
of
ultimate
2017.
takeover. Your mind. Look at that. That is like tagline right there. Am I right? Welcome to the future. This is the year 2017. Oh, I got to revisit this one. This would be fun. I love seeing the year 2017 from the year 1992.
Yeah, they never really get it right, do they?
No, they don't. But yeah, I don't know why I mixed the two. I guess I didn't see. I thought I did see Cube. Maybe I didn't. Is there another one that's like that?
There's three. There's like 4 Cube movies. You never seen any of them?
This poster, I saw one, but this poster,
dude, they're all going through a cube and like the wall. They keep shifting, so the rooms are changing position. It was one of my favorite horror movies. It's so ridiculous.
I'm looking at the posters. No, I feel like there's another Square movie that I just. Anyway, we've gone on too many tangents here. All right.
You can never go on enough tangents.
Mad
about
Max
Cuba.
became. Didn't you just become a Planeteer? Oh, it's reloading. I see. My thing's super slow on this stupid thing. But sorry. Thank you. And then we had one from Curtis. William Shatner blocked me on Twitter because I supported Red Letter Media. That's the world we live in. Yeah, William Shatner is a grumpy old man, which is sad.
Yeah, he blocked me because I made a joke about the journey home.
Really?
It's a complicated in-joke thing.
That's okay.
Basically, there's these two guys on the internet who argue about which Star Trek movie is the one where they go to San Francisco. So if you ask William Shatner, like he posted a picture of the journey home, and he's like, one of my favorite movies, the one where we go to San Francisco. And I go, well, actually, that's Star Trek 2. Yeah, you're wrong, because that's the argument. And then he blocked me immediately. He does not like that in-joke.
That's so funny. I wonder if he knows the joke or he just thinks you're a troll. Or he thinks you're wrong.
He must know the joke by now, because
Or
whenever
maybe
he
just
posts
thinks a bunch
anything
of
from Star
people.
Trek 2 or 4, people try to correct him and convince him it's the other one.
That's hilarious. Wait, sorry. Did I do these with PayPal? Did this work? There was a $10 from Brian. Thank you, Brian. It didn't have a note. Brian, I appreciate you. And I got 3 from Brian. Oh, those did come through. Oh, wait, that just came in from Avatar. Okay, Avatar. Gotcha. And then Mad Max, $5. Appreciate you, Andy. Appreciate you, Max. Thank you for using the Cash App. People are using their tips. Nathan on PayPal. Thank you, Nathan Taylor. I'm not defending Joss Whedon, but if he is a jerk, why did actors from both Buffy and Firefly keep working with him on different projects? Those actors clearly didn't have a problem with him. I mean, yeah, why does anybody stay in an abusive relationship is the question, right? I mean, sometimes
Do you
just
buy
wanna
this
work.
line from Charisma Carpenter, though, that he like suggested she should get an abortion?
Yeah, I mean, I why would she lie about that? She doesn't. She
Okay,
seems,
but why would Joss Whedon care so much about the Buffy timeline that he's like, can you kill your kid?
'Cause
like,
I think-
I really don't buy that.
I think again, and trying to justify it, which I don't want to do, but you're making me do it, Vito. Thank you, I appreciate you.
Sorry,
I could
but
see it. I could see it like in this type of situation where she's come in, she's like, hey, well, I just want to warn you, I'm going to have a kid. Like I got pregnant. I don't know. It just come out of nowhere. I'm nervous about it, and I just want to make sure you told me for the show. And then Josh is like, oh wow, so you're definitely keeping it. Like I
Yeah,
can see
but, like,
that being said in a
what-
way
like-
where like two people are having the conversation. Like, are you? Because sometimes, let's be honest, some people have that conversation, right? And like, it's because it's a big commitment to have the kid and what that means. It could have been in a way that was read a different way. Now, look, I don't think it was any of his business. I don't know.
I'm sure he asked her like or said something, but I think she probably just misread. I really don't think it was. Well, you're
judging
really
by some of
screwing
these-
up my vampire TV show.
Judging by some of
with
these
your dang
lines,
child.
If some of these lines are accurate from Ray's breakdown, he is a huge egomaniac asshole. In which case, I could see it of like, really, man, you're gonna wreck my show and get pregnant? Oh, come on. I mean, he could. So I could see.
I don't know,
There's
man.
either
I
the
don't
huge
buy it. It
douchebag
sounds
version,
too-
or there's the one where he's just sort of like flipping about it and like, what? So
I see him going, hey, you keeping it or what? Like, I don't think he really
Hey, what's he have, an
suggested
Italian
something was
accent?
wrong.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing? You keeping this kid or what?
What's going on? You gonna have a kid?
I know a doctor up in Hoboken.
What do you
who'll
call
get you
him?
Fixed up
You
good.
guys, come on, let's
Yeah.
get, you got a little guap in you, Yeah, what are you gonna call him? Mario. Since when did he turn Italian?
He's always been Italian. In
Yeah,
my head,
Irish.
everyone's Italian.
Look, I
Everyone
can't
in my
justify
head.
it. I'm not trying to justify it, but is there a version where he could have said it in a conversational way? Yes.
Yeah.
There is, but he still shouldn't have said it. But anyway, I don't know. I do think
I give him a
when
pass.
I read Charisma's stuff, I believe her. Like I feel like she's really like distraught by it all, and I've seen her talk about it on Comic-Con speeches. That I don't think she's making that. She does not seem like she's doing it for clout. She's held on to it for a long time, and I think she felt Ray's story and like I need to stand up for Ray, and that's when I get really bothered because I'm like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't stand up for yourself, not for him. And you know,
well, the other
it
part of
bothers
Ray's
me.
story is like when he's like, I stood up because of Black Lives Matter. I'm really doing this for the black community. I'm like, Okay.
Well, hold on. We're gonna
there's
get.
different ways to.
I'm gonna get there. I want to get there because I'm gonna do a quick breeze through because I promised I would. If people need to, if you, whether
Fair
you
enough.
So I'll save it that. But real quick, oh wait, we have 3 here. Awesome, keep them coming, guys. I appreciate you because you guys, we need it. Avatar Guru, thank you. I don't know where my last. Sorry. Before I go to Avatar, why didn't the other cast members step up? It's a good question. Harry Lennox. A lot of people have come forward and said they had a problem. The new girl who worked with him on the new Never show was totally shocked and was like, "Oh my god, I had a pleasant experience with him on the show." Look, people can change. That's what's scary about all this and what Ray's being so aggressive against all these people from years ago. People can change, and so who knows? People can also choose to work with who they want to work with, right? And people can go and say, "Yeah, Joss is a jerk. Don't work with him." Great, then that gives up people the choice: do they want to work with him or not? Joss is also very talented, so can you separate the art from the artist? Did he do enough to never work again? Those are the types of questions I've been asking. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of people who still support him. And I imagine, just like me, there's a lot of people who support him who will not come forward and say so because they're afraid to. And that's the problem. That's what happens. So people just automatically assume Joss is guilty, and he's not saying anything, which I think is a mistake. I wish he would say something.
I do think that's a mistake. I don't know why he hasn't said anything at this point.
I think he's totally distraught. I think he's going through like, oh, shit, what do I do? Like, I know what that feeling is like. And you're emotional. You don't know what to say. And
he's also got the ex-wife talking about him,
and
so
she's not.
like that.
She is not a fan, and she said some awful things. But I have trouble with ex-wives coming forward. I don't know. It's just like ex-wives, divorces, custody battles. All that stuff is very emotional.
Wait!
Shit.
This man's ex-wife has a bad opinion of him.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah, it's like
surely I must bury this man.
Yeah, when it's ex-wives or divorce hearings or custody battles, I'm like, none of my damn business. Anyway, could people be? A lot of people have had good experience with Joss. A lot of people have messaged me talking about good experience with Joss. But there's also been some jerkery. But look, I've been a jerk in my life too. Everyone's been a jerk. No one's perfect. That's why I'm frustrated with sort of like the vagueness. Be specific. Nothing I've seen yet, aside from the stuff he said about Gal, nothing has been so drastic that I'm like, burn him. I know, like the Charisma Carpenter stuff was frustrating, but still, even that wasn't cancelable. It was just he's an asshole. Anyway, Avatar. Thank you.
Aren't the best directors assholes? Yeah, go.
Yeah,
ahead.
Michael Bay. There's a lot of them for real. David O. Russell. Oh my God, there's a lot of them. You wouldn't want to.
You kind of have to be. I mean, some of these actors. Let's be real. They have egos. You got to rein them in. You got to be like, okay, look, man, we're paying you $1 million. Say booyah. Like.
And that's why, there's new directors like Olivia Wilde who are like, I want a no asshole policy. Why does she want a no asshole policy?
No,
because most films are filled with assholes. It is true. So choose to work on the film or don't. That's the reality. But Avatar Guru, thank you guys. Keep the chats coming. I appreciate all you guys. And I will delay my Ray Fisher story if you guys want to send other topics. We'll do that instead. But he said, I don't know where my last $10 message went, but Tyler inspired me to donate again. So more funds for the best movie ever. Vito guest funds. Also, you were watching old cartoons last week. Please watch the Lone Star theme song. It's so stupid. I love it. Oh man, I remember that show. Lone Star was epic.
I think I kind of remember
animation.
That,
the cartoon.
Yeah, it was a cartoon, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm looking for it. Oh man, I remember these toys. Wait, Braveheart? No, Brave Star?
It might be Brave Star.
Brave Star, yeah.
It's Brave Star, right? That's okay. Oh, I'm thinking of something else.
What's Lone Star?
Hold on. I don't want this ad. Hate the dumb ads.
Yeah, he has a mechanical horse.
Yeah. I love all the themes from the old cartoons. They're all
Yeah, they are.
Dude, there's one from a show I never even watched, and sometimes I just listen to the theme song. This show called Mighty Orbots. And I'm like, yo, this slams. I'm always listening to the Mighty Orbots theme.
Yeah, they put a lot of attention in openings back in the 80s.
Brave Star! I did have these toys. Totally forgot this one.
What happened to these theme songs, man? They were all
Space Cowboys. Cowboys versus Alien. Puma and Bear. This is like Cowboys versus Aliens. This voice sounds like it was Steve Martin or something singing it. Oh my God! Look at that robot.
Yeah, he walks on 2 legs. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Brave Star. Brave Star. Brave Star. Dog show. Dog show. All right, there we go. Oh, come on, Uche. Only 43 people are watching. Just come on over here. We'll have a better stream, Uche. Come on, what are you waiting for? to just stand with Ray Fisher. Let's have the fight here. All right. Anyway,
Uchi's only got 43 watching.
Yeah. Oh well. Thank you, Avatar.
Uchi, everybody loved him.
Avatar. Well, the Snyder fan. Look, the reality is, sorry, Daniel and William, but to restore the Snyderverse, the whole thing's going to start deflating soon. We're going to move on to other topics. It is what it is. So, you got William. Go ahead, William. What?
I have something to say about that. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, I don't know what Vito thinks about the market side of things that I was talking about, because you never answered that, Andy. But
the market
side I mean,
of things. He made a point of saying, like, yeah, we want to see Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman before we want to see Cyborg. That's all the market of, like, selling those action figures and those characters. They're more popular than Cyborg was. So when you're going to cut down a character, Cyborg's the one you cut.
How many Cyborg figures were even sold? Probably less than any Superman, Batman, whatever.
Well, it's not exactly about the which superhero is more popular. It's about the market data about which race people want to see in the screen, because right now everything is quantifiable. So what I was saying to Andy is that I don't think that Ray Fisher understands this. I mean, I think that he opened and kind of interesting conversation, but he himself, he doesn't understand why it's happening. Why black people are being cut. It's a business decision.
Yeah, I mean, Black Panther sold well. I mean, you can absolutely have black characters that do well. It's just if they're going to be in the same movie as giant names like Superman, Wonder Woman, like that's what people are going to focus on. Again, I think we would have liked a standalone Cyborg film. I think that would have been a better place to introduce him. I mean, we all said, why didn't they just do a bunch of origin movies and then everybody would have been happy? But ultimately, this is all Warner's rush into everything. Yeah.
And I want to. They put a lot of attention in Cyborg because they're adapting the New 52 Justice League, and that Cyborg is very important because back then it was just mechanical parts put on a person. In New 52, they added the mother box being fused with him, so he was a very important part to fight Darkseid off in the comics.
He's central to the plot.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, we're gonna do New 52, this whole DCEU. That's even though it wasn't the best in the comics, the New 52, but they chose that. I don't know why.
It's a horrible choice, actually.
Yeah, they could have gone way something better. It's a better story, way better than that.
But since they choose that, I mean, Cyborg,
they gotta go with it. Yeah,
central for the plot. But what I was talking was, I mean, the Black Panther is a good point, but Black Panther is actually going against the market.
Going against the market in what way? You're saying according to market trends, it should not have been popular.
No, it should not have been popular. No, it's difficult to predict that it's going to be popular, because right now, what I was talking with Andy before you arrived, it was that in marketing you have this data that shows that people actually like to see more white people on the screen, even here in Mexico. You see that trend, even if Mexico is 90% brown people. So TikTok and other apps adjust the algorithm so you can see more white people than black people, or more handsome people than ugly people, and it's the same for the movies. I mean, I work in a couple of documentaries, and it's the same. But when we talk about that in Latin America, it's not racial, it's a business decision. That's why I say that Ray Fisher doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, there is a problem. There's clearly a problem, but it's not a racial problem per se. It's much more complicated than that, because you want your money back and you want to make a safe investment. So you invest in.
Well, it's always the mix between business and representation, where you might make more money with a superhero that looks like whatever the majority of your audience. But, we also want to acknowledge those audiences that are underrepresented, and you want to find a good balance there. Again, I think I wish Ray Fisher, yeah.
But
it makes sense
to
me.
Give a fuck about that.
Yeah, but they should, though. I think it is great that a black kid can go, I want to see superheroes that look like me. I think there's a lot of value to that, and you can make it work, like with Black Panther. It's kind of why I wish Ray Fisher had just towed the line a little more. Who knows? Maybe we would have got a Cyborg movie. I don't really know what he was trying to accomplish here. Get Joss Whedon out of the industry, change the industry, fight racism. I think he would have been doing much better work within the system than trying to destroy the system.
He should have played the long game. That would have been way better.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Take your licks and then go, hey, let's make it. I've had some problems with you guys in the past, but I'm going to let it go. Let's make a Cyborg movie. I think they would have I don't know. I mean, maybe he thought Cyborg was dead as a character after Justice League and whatever else, but it still could have played his cards differently. They wanted to put him in the Flash movie.
It was super emotional. It was super emotional because of the Black Lives Matter movement during the pandemic.
Yeah,
I mean, he went all in.
Yeah, he leaned too hard. As I said, it's like I really genuinely believe the restore the Snyderverse isn't happening. Well, it's coupled. I think the Ray Fisher stuff hitting Walter Hamada, everything that they've been doing for the past several months, did not help to restore the Snyderverse. I think it is a movement.
Screen,
Yeah, well, I think it's a genuine movement that sort of went against the powers that be, because I do think Zack wanted to sort of keep going and sort of get rid of everybody who wronged him, right or wrong to that decision. Clearly, they're like, you know what, this is too extreme. And I've heard. Look, my sources have been right. The Warner Brothers sources just didn't know that AT&T was going to overrule them. A lot of people didn't know, including Zach. It happened last minute that HBO Max ultimately said, no, you know what? With this pandemic, we need content, so greenlight that thing ASAP. Because they needed it. They have no content. That's why they greenlit all their movies to go to streaming instead of theatrical for the year, because HBO Max needs content desperately. And so, look, they didn't know. And so a lot of those sources I'm still talking to, they're like, they are telling me AT&T Warner Media is absolutely regretting its decision to greenlight the Snyder Cut, because they're just they gave into this fandom that they realized was not helpful. And yes, I know all fandoms have the toxic whatever, but not as vocal and aggressive as this one, constantly targeting them. And it's like you can't please them. They literally
and you
spent
don't want
a fortune.
To be known as
They spent a fortune giving this movie, and it's like it's never enough. It's like, well, now we want this, and this. It's insane.
It's worse for Star Wars.
But it's different. It's different. They're not caving to Star Wars fandom. They're not. They don't cave to the toxic fans. They let Gina Carano go.
Star Wars is in the ground because of it.
I don't disagree. Mandalorian was doing great until they decided to do the Gina Carano thing.
What about the High Republic? That's not gonna sell.
Who cares about that? I don't read the comic books. I care about the movies and the TV shows. I don't give a shit about the Star Wars
That's
comic
part of the
books.
problem.
Who gives
comic
a shit?
books?
Gives a shit about Star Wars comic books? Come on. I'm talking about real shit.
I have a collection of Star Wars comic books.
Well, sorry, man. They're not making the money the movies are. But anyway, my point being, of course, that the fandom did not help. You can't be like, yeah, thanks for that movie. By the way, we want this. Otherwise, F you, boycott HBO Max. It's just too extreme. And I think they realize.
As aggressive as you do.
And Sarnoff said it as much. So, like, yeah, we're going to move on. You don't do a press release, not release the numbers, and be that aggressive out the gate with, like, we're done, we're moving forward, it's over. And then you're like, yeah, James Wan and what's her name from Selma, Ava DuVernay. So sorry your movies didn't get made, but we look forward to working with you soon. Maybe the movies can come back. I mean, the writing's on the wall, guys. I'm sorry if you're in denial, but like that's not what you do as a studio if you want to be in business with Zack Snyder and do more.
I'm reading something different. Personally, I might be wrong because that interview with Ann Sarnoff was made before the film was released.
Yeah, I've heard that too, that there's a potential that she did an interview before it was out, but even more of a point of why would you do an interview before your movie's out and you have the data? That is clearly you made your decision before you even saw it. You didn't care.
But that's because Hamada and Sarnoff has a different plan before AT&T forced them to do the Snyderverse. I mean, I think that actually AT&T and HBO Max wants to continue just on streaming, and that's conflicting with the plans of Walter Hamada and Ann Sarnoff and all the slate that they have for movies. I think that plays into why they canceled the Breach, the stuff with Aquaman, demons, weird thing.
The trench.
The trench. Yeah.
I think that factor in because they're regrouping because the Snyder. I do think that the Snyder Cut had solid numbers and they're trying to work around what do we do? People like these casts. People like these cats. Like this direction. I mean, are we going not capitalize on this?
Right, but that you're not wrong. I think everyone's sort of pleasantly surprised that it was better, but it wasn't enough to warrant the amount of money that they were required to get those actors on deck to do another Justice League movie. That's insanely expensive. And I think the fans and Zach and Ray miscalculated, and it's like the studio doesn't want to deal with this bullshit anymore. If they had been gracious about it and said thank you so much, you're so awesome, and rallied around and actually stood up against the toxicity and made it more of a positive experience for all of the internet and fandoms, Yeah, I bet you we would be seeing the Deathstroke movie or some other things potentially, or like, hey, that was great, Zach. You know what? We can't we can't afford Justice League right now, but we'd love to stay in touch. This was what a pleasant surprise. The fans were great.
When the Snyder
that was not the
fans are coming out of
experience.
the movie, going, I hate Warner Brothers. They did like. You don't want to release a Warner Brothers movie and have everyone go, I can't believe Warner Brothers held this back from us. What a bunch of... No, you want them to come out and go, I love Warner Brothers. You know,
good for you for finally
Why would
putting
they
this
want to
vision
support
out?
a universe where all the fans hate their guts?
Exactly.
It's insanity.
Like I said, Star Wars. Like I said, it's a case of damn if you do.
But no. Whoa. I don't like that. You're sorry, but no, they didn't give the Star Wars fans a movie. They didn't. How is it the same?
Kind of. I mean, The Mandalorian is a clear callback to the Star Wars before.
Come on. They did not reactivate to a hashtag fan base to say you win. We're going to release this movie.
Oh, that's true.
They did not give in to a fandom. Now,
it's possible J.J. Abrams read too much of that stuff and did try to please some people, but they never went on record. And
I got to say, Rogue Comics. I'm sorry, I love comics. I just don't see Star Wars as a comic franchise is all I'm saying. I support the comic industry.
Yeah,
of course.
it's a movie one. Yeah.
Comics are great, but Star Wars is a movie and franchise that has some comics associated to it. And I'm sorry, I don't take the Star Wars comics as much as I do the movies. Now, there's a lot of comics that deserve to be out there. I'm not knocking your business, Mike. I was just kidding.
No.
But as I'm saying, I don't think of Star Wars when I think of comics. I know they are. I know there's some good Vader comics, etc. Cool. But it's ancillary. It's not the same as the movies is where they make their money, and that's what's more important. Hold on. I want to get through some of these chats. There's so much more. And if you guys, because I want to keep the chats coming if they come. Collaborative key. So anyway, I got that. Thank you, Avatar. Thank you for pitching Lone Star. That was a good treat. Collaborative Kiwi Studios, thank you again. Last one for the night. Bravo, sir. You're always so generous these days. I appreciate when you make money, you share your money to support us because we entertain you. That's how it works, folks. So everyone throw some planets in the air for Tyler, for supporting me, Lewis. What a good gentleman. And then Kurt is back, guys. Kurt sent another one. Wondering what was your favorite movie fight was. My guess is where you fought Dan on Jurassic World. That was a fun one. God, can you imagine? Kurt, can you imagine how fire that did the Snyder Cut suck between me versus Dan? The views and the entertainment would have been off the charts. Imagine how pissy Dan would have gotten at me, and imagine Dan defending the Snyder Cut while Toxic Andy fights it. It would have been beautiful. In Earth 5 or whatever, where we're still friends and we done it. What a missed opportunity. The fact that he's such a stick in the mud, he can't move on and just be like, all right, you got canceled. We can still engage because you gave me my girlfriend, my job, all that. But hey, whatever. It is what it is. As for my favorite fight, I really don't remember it. I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but I've moved on from that. Not from I've pushed it out. I've spent the last 3 years. I mean, even when I was doing movie fights, I would just sort of check out as soon as I left because there was so much else going on. I love the drunk fights; those are always fun. Ken doing the water slides with Brad Pitt, guessing his age. Holy shit, that was amazing. And I loved Night Falls with Christian Harloff, where he made a fake movie. Vito, there was a contestant on Movie Fights. I don't know if you know Movie Fights, but we would argue Movie Fights. And I had a contestant, Christian, who came on, and he literally made a fake movie mid-fight and defended it. It was called Night Falls. And he's like, yeah, De Niro and Pacino when they did Night Falls. And we all sort of bought it. And then we realized he made it up. And I was like, that was brilliant. Because I was like, I thought it was Righteous Kill was like the movie I was trying to think of with De Niro and thing. But they started doing these older movies that no one watched. So he's like, yeah, when they got together for Night Falls, it was a brilliant, and he did it. So I was like, that's how you play. You just play to win. But yeah, so there was a bunch of fun moments like that. But those are probably some of my all-time favorites. So thank you, Kurt. Black
Quick
Shirt
question,
Podcast. Booyah! For you, Black Shirt Podcast.
Booyah.
He won't say it, but I now I can say it whenever I want. And then Stormy, what's up, Stormy? Stormy was going to be here, but then something didn't work. Sorry, the tech didn't work. I think I sent you the link. You're welcome to come in even for a minute if you want, Stormy. You're always welcome. Stormy, so sorry I missed this wonderful chat, Andy. In regards to Fisher, unless he starts speaking facts instead of hearsay, he is still giving the same BS. And plus, you don't speak bad against my friends. Thank you, Stormy. I appreciate you. And yeah, I want some facts and evidence. That's really what I always want. Due process is most important. So there you go. Sorry. So someone was going to say something. Who was I? Was it you, Daniel?
Yeah, it was me.
What happened to all those videos of the wars and movie fights? Did they take them down from Screen Junkies, or they're still there?
No, they're still there because they're making revenue off of them. They're old views. So yeah, I think as much as they wanted to, they realized, nah, we'll make some money off of them. And good thing they didn't, because I'm sure they still give them. Right? It's depressing to know that all my hard work and ideas are just funding those people who can't come up with new ideas. It is.
Yeah, the channel's dead.
It's frustrating, especially since they sold the channel for nothing to Fandom, and Fandom sucks, and no one cares about it anymore. They're just there. I know. I think Spencer has a kid now, and so he's clearly just cashing that check. He's checked out, cashing a check because he knows he's valuable to keep those honest trailers going. Him and John Bailey are the only two things they really desperately need. Everything else is replaceable.
Is honest trailers the only thing that performs on there now?
Oh yeah, and that's dying. It's just so sad. And back in my day, Vito, I mean, getting 1 million views in the first day was easy, and then we would be getting tons more. But now I see them; they sometimes aren't even breaking like 500,000 views. It's like it's successful.
These channels lose their way, man.
They totally. Meanwhile, CinemaSins
if you ever
is still
want to
trucking
see,
along, you know.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to see a real nightmare story, look at the Funny or Die channel.
Oh,
it is.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Well, I mean, it was confusing because it was never a good YouTube. It was never a good YouTube channel. It was a website.
But they got crazy subscribers and celebrities and everything else. Last year, though, they suddenly decided to be a Black Lives Matter like podcast channel.
Are you kidding? Hold on, I gotta see this.
Go look at the channel. It's so weird. Go to like June of last year.
Between two ferns. And then
I'm like, what happened? You guys stopped making comedy, and now it's like a weird, like literally just straight Black Lives Matter videos that aren't funny at all.
Wow, they
reloaded.
reloaded.
Just people talking about.
They reloaded Landlord and Baby Cop as shorter versions. What? The Cooties.
None of their videos
this is
have
why
any
the woods
views.
are dangerous.
Wow.
What is this stuff?
Oh, they started re-uploading stuff. Is how desperate they are now, huh?
Oh my God, this is pathetic. Coach Von Pigeon. The hell is Coach Von Pigeon?
Dude, you got to watch. So they have
Jeff
Best
Goldblum
President.
and Sterling K. Brown to decorate holiday presents.
Do you see that Best Presidency Ever thing where they actually went and got all the people from, like, you know, I Love the 80s. So Hal Sparks is there. They've got Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. 8,000 views.
13.
It's like
13,
8. Like they did a couple episodes.
Dude, I'm doing better than them. Yeah. More active.
Dude, you're doing way better than them. And then, yeah, again, you scroll down, and then, like, June of last year, it's just like talking to the community about controlling the narrative of Black image in the media. And I'm like, yeah, that's why.
Was
I'm
Kid
sure that's
Nation the worst reality
stuff.
show ever? That's a good one. Yeah, they did a whole thing about Kid Nation. I think that I did see those. Kid Nation was a fantastic
Yeah, that's their
show.
only series that is
Only
doing
thing that
well, is
worked.
talking about that stuff.
But yeah, oh my God, it's depressing. You know, the other one that I haven't watched in a while, I wonder how they're doing, is College Humor.
I think they're doing okay.
They launched a whole like paid
A little.
platform,
Yeah.
like we did with Screen Junkies Plus, and I wonder how their views are doing these days. They used to.
They got 1.2
Oh, yeah,
million
look at
2
that.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still nailing it. They're doing all right.
Yeah, all right.
To
they're
be
still
fair,
working.
with 14 million subscribers, though, you think it would
You
be.
really have
These
to
are
drop
my
off.
numbers here.
He'd have to drop off the face of the earth to really f that up.
Yeah.
Well, good on them. I mean, it's still not as good. They're not posting as often. But yeah, Dropout. It's like they do have basically a paid-for College Humor app that must be, who knows who's paying for this anymore.
What is on that? These weird streaming services, I never know who's on there.
It's very weird. All
That
right.
being said, I have, what do you call it? Peacock Plus, so I'm an idiot.
I do too, because of The Office. You sold me. I started watching the supersized episodes. I can't tell.
Did
the
you
difference.
watch the
I
super
can't
fan
tell.
episodes? You can't tell the difference?
I can't tell.
You haven't watched The Office enough.
I know. I
know every line. So
I-
I'm like,
I-
oh, that's new?
I'm like,
That's
I think
new?
that's new. I just watched last night the where they do the part. What's it called? Where he goes into Philadelphia to do the party in the hotel room.
Yeah.
It's so great. Scranton
That's a
party.
great
No,
one.
it's like a Scranton party. Anyway, there's a lot of fun stuff.
The new stuff in that episode was Dwight doing something. What was Dwight doing in that episode? He's like going around the hotel.
I wish they would like highlight a little thing in the corner like this came on during the news stuff.
Yeah, that could be cool.
That would really
This
nice
is
to
new.
be like
This is new.
like a little like asterisk just comes in the corner, so you know, all right, this was new, this was added. I don't know why they do it. All right.
Well, it's for super fans, which you clearly are not.
I clearly am not. All right. So I was going to read the article, but I don't know. Do we care anymore? What do you guys think?
About which article?
I was going to read this article once through to go through it, but have we moved on from Ray? Do we not care? Throw a 1 if you want me to read this article. Throw a 2 if you want me to move on, or throw a super chat
long.
for the new topic.
The Hollywood Reporter article. It's a whole thing.
I offer
Regardless,
to do it. I offer to do it. I want to make sure I
should probably go do some work. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you, Vito. I appreciate you being here.
Everybody should go watch
Ray Fisher's looking at you.
movie ever over on Movie World.
And yeah, we're going to be back Tuesday. And then check out YouTube/Vito on YouTube.com/Vito.
And I do have a breakdown of that Ray Fisher article if anybody wants to hear my thoughts.
How is it doing?
It's whatever. It's just a quick rant, so probably not great. You got to give it like a day. I have this weird thing where the YouTube algorithm like hates me for the first day, and then my stuff only ever starts trending after like 2 or 3 days if it likes it. Like that Disney Stormtrooper video I put up. It's like, I don't know if I like it. I don't know. All right, yeah, we'll let you trend. I'm like, just do it from the beginning like everybody else. But yeah, whatever. I'm happy with it.
Well, good, man. Always good. You're always welcome. Good to see you. Stay tuned. We'll have a new Best Week Ever soon. Best Movie Ever, sorry. And then
stop stealing their name. We're going to get sued.
Vito, we'll get sued. But thank you, my man. Enjoy your night. Catch you later.
Have fun, buddy.
Peace. All right, there's a lot of 2s. I see some 1s, but good. All right, I don't want to keep talking about it. So sorry. We did enough. Sorry for those of you who pressed 1. But, man, I'm over it. So let's move the fuck on from... Actually, this was an interesting thing I had saved up. I was always talking about racism, but there was a tweet way back where Ray Fisher. In fact, let me log in quick.
What was that about masculinity?
Oh yeah, we're getting there. Don't worry. Hold on. There was a tweet way back. Hold on. I'm going to do this. I'll meet you guys in the middle. How's that? We're not going to do the article, but I'll do one more Ray Fisher story for you all. And I gotta get. He's right about this. When he's right, he's right. I appreciate Jeff Johns bringing on a crisis team to try and explain away his discriminatory behavior. And he's not, I don't like this, but his excuses are weak. I don't agree with this, but he did get him on this. If Jeff believed fans expected Superman's grandfather to look like a young Henry Cavill, why was he okay with the Zods not resembling Michael Shannon? I mean, yeah. I mean, you look stupid there, Jeff. He's right, because they made Zod black in the show. But then you could make Superman black. Who cares?
The show is cool, though. I mean,
I heard Krypton was not
the
bad.
show was good. The show was really good. But the thing is, I heard that it was gonna be a prequel, an actual prequel. They even brought David S. Goyer to it on the pilot. They had the S. They had the metal key from Man of Steel. It was a weird situation because the pilot. There's a trailer where the pilot that it looked like a legit prequel from Man of Steel. And I understand why they would get someone that looks like Henry Cavill, because they want to ride on that Henry Cavill stardom, so that people could watch that, because it was Henry Cavill was hot at the time when the show was going to be made. So that's my whole thing. When did they cast Zod? That's my question. Do you think they casted him when they cast the main character, which was Superman's grandfather, or was it later on? Because Zod came out in episode 4. What do you think?
I don't remember.
All the Zod family is black, so from episode 1. Actually, the Zod grandmother, I think it is. She's pretty badass. She's the same actress that plays the Amazon in the Snyder Cut, the one that touched the buck.
Sorry, I was checking one thing before we. I found this story. Hold on, 1 second. Is that one of your making a noise?
Yeah,
one of yours is.
What noise?
There's like a.
I'm gonna be on mute right now.
Turn yours on mute, William.
Sure.
It's yours. William's got like
a.
There's like
a beeping. Yeah, I heard it. I heard it. You're right.
There was something. So when you're not talking, it's muted. All right. So here's the story I was going to say. And Lewis is all right. So Lewis in a second before we go over there. All right. So here was just unmute when you want to talk and mute. I wanted to share this though because this is interesting to me. So remember when he was out there. Nadrea Tucker was complaining, since I haven't talked to Jeff since when he tried to tell me what was and not a black thing, clearly referring to the hair. Okay, and then Ray goes, "I feel every bit of your pain. Among many other things, I had to spend an inordinate amount of time explaining to Jeff why he was not the authority and how the existence of Cyborg's genitals would be perceived by the black community. He strongly disagreed. Now, when I saw this tweet, I thought, well, that's weird, right? What what the hell? And then someone on Twitter educated me. Apparently this was a big deal in the black community back in 2016 when Jeff Johns wrote this. Cyborg's masculinity shouldn't be defined by his manhood. When David F. Walker, who's African-American, began his run writing the Cyborg solo series, he set out to introduce the character to a new generation of comic book readers and give the character back something that in his opinion, had been taken away in his origin story, his masculinity, specifically his masculinity as it relates to his genitalia. And so there's a whole breakdown here as well about the masculinity of Cyborg and the fact that he was castrated by the black critics. Recent 8-page preview shows from David F. Walker revealed a significant title change, some cosmic mayor, but to understand how helpful this is, Cyborg is regarded by black critics. At Emerald City Comic Con this year, I was lucky enough to be on a panel on diversity and representation with David F. Walker. 2 months of his Cyborg title was announced. During the panel, Walker, a black man, mentioned something about the character that I'd never considered. Cyborg is an emasculated black man in his new 42 origin story. He lost his entire bottom half of his body, which means that before becoming Cyborg, he was castrated. This was for Walker a problem with the character. This might seem like an odd point to raise given that genitals aren't a prominent feature in mainstream superhero stories. Artists often famously allied suggestion of genitalia or male characters down on Ken doll smoothness. Marvel and DC didn't tell, especially Tales. Genitalias are not features of the genre, but if we were to think about it, we might presume that we're expected to believe that other male heroes have genitals. We know Cyborg does not, and there are people for whom the distinction does matter, with Walker among them. So anyway, they talk about how it emasculated the black man, et cetera, et cetera. This was on a diversity panel at a Comic-Con. So what's interesting is, yeah, apparently Jeff Johns did know about some controversy of black men having an opinion about Cyborg's genitals because it was an issue that actually, was kicked around back in 2016 before they were, before the movie came out and before the reshoots, etc. So again, once again, to me, it just proves that sort of Ray doesn't want to hear notes. He just wants to sort of tell you the way it is from Ray's perspective. And it's like, we don't have any context here, but he didn't put it in the article. But yeah, maybe Jeff does have some authority on why the black community has an opinion on Cyborg's genitals because he went through that whole, thing years ago and want to sort of avoid it in the future, or at least have a conversation about it. So again, it's just, to me, I don't know if you guys have an opinion on that, but it's like, it just once again proves to me sort of the silliness and frustration I have where he just jumps around and makes accusations without really trying to figure out, well, maybe there was more to it, without just screaming racism. To me, is a problematic thing.
I have no idea what Ray Fisher is talking about. I mean, did he want this to be part of the movie?
I don't even know.
I'm
He's
confused.
just throwing it out like another knock at Jeff Johns, but I'm like, what? And then when I saw it, I was just like, what the hell? Why were they talking about the genitals? But then you realize, oh, there actually was, some serious conversations in the black community, apparently, and a lot of black writers about the fact that why do we castrate the only black hero and all the other ones have them and this one we know doesn't. Look, I don't know for me, it doesn't matter, but it just proves the fact that this was clearly an issue for some, you know what I mean, is what I'm trying to point out. And that could be why, when Jeff Johns was writing this, why he thought he was an authority on this and had some opinion to say it. So again, it just proves to me the silliness of where this gets from. Rabid Dingo, thank you, Rabid Dingo. Andy, I disagree with you, but love you too. And the Thrawn trilogy is the true Star Wars sequel. Well, there you go. I love you. We can agree to disagree. What do you disagree on the Ray Fisher stuff? You should have called in, Rabid Dingo. Or was it something else? Let me know. But I appreciate the super chat love, and I have not seen the Thrawn trilogy. I guess I need to. I'm still going to fight that Robert Downey Jr. should be Thrawn. And then let's see. Make sure I have everything else.
Hey, William, can you go on mute when you're not talking?
Yeah, we're still hearing your
sound. Yeah. When you talk, turn it on right away.
Yeah, just turn it. Sorry, it is distracting now. There's some noise near it. It's
got really loud.
Big in. But anyway, there we go. Who cares about Cyborg's genitals? Type a 1 if you care about Cyborg's genitals, or a 0 if you don't. 1s and 0s for the Cyborg code. I'm curious. The Vision also. That's right. Joss really cared about Vision's junk in that move, in Ultron apparently too. We did a whole video about that. It was stupid. All right, let me make sure I've covered everything else. Ray Fisher hasn't added anything else yet. And last little checks. And okay, good. Making sure I got all the links from you guys as we wind things down. And Maximilian, or Max, thank you for the, appreciate you, Andy. I appreciate you, Mad Max, for sending that as well. And I think we are all caught up. All right, so guys in the chat, unless you send anything else quickly to wrap up, I appreciate all you. Marcus, what's up? I see you. Bunda, Mad Max, 406, Jimbo, all these people voting. Maximilian, Hosea, what's up? New York Rangers fan. Cinema Queen, Matthew, Will Morris, Josh, so many people. Eat My Shorts, Bunda, as I said, Kevin R. Geo the Sage, good to see you. Marcus, my man, never knew about this story. I know, isn't it crazy? It was super wild. And then scrolling up to make sure I didn't miss anybody. A lot of you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Oleo sent a super chat. Thank you. Paul Bittney made a video about the conversation with Joss for Avengers about Vision's genitals. There were no Vision genitals. There was no backlash, but the same conversation here, and it is. Yeah, I don't know why we care about anybody's genitals, to be honest. But I see a lot of ones. So a lot more ones than I expected. Apparently, people do care. Some 00001, 0111 and an 8. They're trying to make a dick. 0111. Wow, Cinema Queen really cares about it. She put a lot of ones. Nathan 0196 for the dyslexic because it's 69 backwards. 1 negative 1 0. Is it a 1 or you put a 1? So I'm gonna count you, Myra, that you do care about his junk. 1 0 1 1. Yeah, so I guess more zeros overall. There you go. Interesting take. Eat My Shorts. There you go. You did get acknowledged. A lot of people tapping the source. Matthew Coburn, Muddit. What's up, guys? Yes, there you go. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. You're welcome, Andy. You happen to be very interesting. Well, I appreciate that. I try to be. Try to keep it entertaining for all you guys. All right, as we wrap up with our two guests that are still here, Daniel, anything, last chance to send over any love, pin comment, and I'll answer for you. Otherwise, we'll jump off. Before I do that, Daniel, anything you want to add since you made it to the end of the show?
Oh, wow. Thank you for that. I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, nothing much, man. Keep doing what you're doing. You're awesome. And yeah, man, pretty much.
Thank you, my man. Appreciate you meeting in the middle on this. And then William, go ahead, unmute yourself. Anything else you want to add here or say as we wrap up the show?
Yeah, the same. I mean, thank you for having me, man. I hope you make something like MovieFights on your channel one day.
We do. We have Nerd Wars. We do Nerd Wars once in a while. It just becomes hard to produce it, and it's hard to find people who want to know the topics and who are good at the topics. But yeah, Nerd Wars happens here from time to time. There it is. Nerd Wars.
Fatality.
But yeah, we try once in a while. It's there. And Best Movie Ever is pretty fun, so check that out.
Okay, cool. If you do
Awesome.
Batman versus Superman someday.
Oh, we've done it. We had a whole watch party
Yeah.
where I rewatched it, and we
Yeah.
tried to collect points. I'm still not a fan. I appreciate it more than I used to, but I'm still not a fan.
Well, I'm gonna send you my review, see what you think about it.
Please
From
do. Good
a
luck.
non-American perspective.
Go for it. Good luck. Good luck. I find it
Stupid!
but there's moments. There are cool moments. The thing I always mention. The thing I always mention is the fact I love the opening where I genuinely mean this. The opening where Bruce Wayne sees Superman smashing through Wayne Enterprises and is like, "Oh shit! What the hell is this alien smashing the buildings?" That's fucking cool. So look, there are moments. There are moments of the film that were badass, but overall, I just can't get into it. But yeah, see, people at the Stand with Ray guys were cool tonight. There you go. See, a lot of people thought you were all going to be douchebags, but kudos for not being douchebags, for being fair, respectful people. See, when you actually show up on the stream, it always happens. Unless you're an asshole, we always find a nice medium. We have a good conversation. We keep it civil. So awesome. I hope you guys will stay tuned. Daniel, William, welcome back. Keep watching if you will. Jordan, I saw you in the back. Everybody else, both Jordans who called in, Brandon, all you guys who phoned in tonight, I appreciate you guys for talking with me, trying to change sides. We're gonna head on. I'm gonna head on over quickly to Nerd Report next. He is live. Let's show him some love with some views, etc. Hold on, let me get you the link if you want to keep the party going. We will be over there. He's doing an open call-in show. All right, cool. I will join him quick, and you guys can try to call in yourself. Here's the link to the Nerd Report. Nerd Report. Make sure you call it that in the comments as you go on over there, and talk about Ray Fisher's junk. Go ahead. When you go in the comment section, I implore tonight's theme is to go talk about Ray Fisher's junk in sort of a smart, intellectual way. How does he pee? Does he poop? Does he not need to poop? Well, think about it. Does he have the urge to masturbate? Whatever you want to think about. Talk about genitalia of Cyborg in the Nerd Report comments. I will meet you guys over there. There's the link again to the Nerd Report, is what I call it now, since that's apparently the joke. Come on over to the Nerd Report, everybody. We will be there next. Appreciate all you guys who tuned in tonight. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorned Planet. See you later. More videos tomorrow, and we'll be back live Thursday night here on the channel. Peace. Good night, guys. Thanks for joining me.
Good night.
Good night.